watching crazy mother named Ice Cube. From the gang called Fellers with Attitudes. When I'm called off, I got a soda. Squeeze the trigger and bodies are hauled off. You too, boy, if you with me. The police are gonna have to come and get me off your ass. That's how I'm going out. For the pump mother, they're going out.
Brilliant, brilliant. Hiya, lads. Hiya.
Well, Shabby.
Hiya, pal. Are you all right? Are you all right? Oh,
good, yeah.
Tonight, as you can see, we've got the lovely only one. We've got the lovely Keith Mando number 5. Oh, this is going to be awesome. Welcome to Top 5, boys. So let me first off by asking you, how easy was it to find? Because Des turned around when we had Des on, and Des goes, you could have me on next week with a completely different top 5. So how did you pick your top 5s?
Sorry, mate. Top 5. I thought it was top 50. So,
No, Si's not on this week.
I love that.
Nate, go on. You go first, mate.
Well, yeah, fairly easy, only because I only collect Star Wars. And I have to say, like, you know, if you listen to what VTR was saying last week, I'm sure he talked about the history and everything. And then I don't have to dive into, it's crazy to think a lot of the stuff I have is only 6 years old, some of it, you know what I mean? It's quite new, but it's still already a massive, financially or whatever, it's a big part of my collection and it's really important, you know? So, and it's gone up so much in value as well. Some of it's crazy. So, but yeah, it's nothing old at my end. It's all modern kind of thing, you know what I mean?
Keith, what about you, pal?
Yeah, it was really difficult because I'm quite into the sentimental stuff as I had as a kid. So for me, I've got some little bit here. And like I think VTR Dave last week had his locomotives or whatever it was, or the week before. I'm the same. It's so I've gone a bit more sentimental stuff that's non-Star Wars for a few of the items. So
wow, have you? Wow, it's funny that as well. We use Star Warsy lads because how do you pick a top 5 when, especially for you, Nick, because you've had you've been collecting for years and it's one franchise that you do. So was it difficult to go, well, this is, you know what I mean, the figure that you liked or the place?
Well, you know, a lot of people who know my channel probably know what I've chosen, but yeah, there's a few later editions and I still have to think about it, you know, really kind of check I hadn't missed anything. But I've just got into a few other new things. Like I've started getting into the WWE figures, man. I've really but it's quite funny to see the views are dipping madly on that. No one's interested at all. It's like, you know, I do normal videos and then it's like, what people who subscribe to, like, what the France is this? And
that's not Darth Vader.
I know exactly. It's funny, but I don't care. I'm just enjoying doing that and seeing new stuff. Yeah.
Have you ever thought about it though? But I think I've probably asked you before on different live streams. But have you ever come away from, like, I did it. I was pure Star Wars for years. You know what I mean? Then the TVC came in. I thought, I'll get bang into that. Then obviously Black Series, which I still collect now. But then not that a case of moved on. I kept seeing stuff that I loved as kids, like Masters of the Universe and Gold, this kind of thing. And so I went like this. Do you know what I mean? And thought, well, I'll buy it all. Have you ever done that yourselves? Because I know both your channels and the links for your channels, by the way, are in the description at the bottom. So if anybody hasn't sold, you know where they are. But your channels are primarily Star Wars. But like you've just said, you've been doing wrestling. Is that something you thought, you know what?
Very quickly on that, like, very quickly on that, TVC is just like the modern extension of the original canon. Don't forget that packaging is the original stuff. So in a way, I feel this is all tied to my very earliest and dearest collecting and hobby, which is Star Wars, most definitely.
Yeah.
Of which my passion for Star Wars has been reignited by Andor, I have to say, because I was really hanging on for a while. I was like really uninspired to do videos and stuff and buy anything because it just wasn't digging what was out. But now I feel refreshed and ready. You know what I mean? I don't know about
I've
you.
Always said that. I've always said that, Keith and Nick. It just takes that one thing, doesn't it, for Star Wars?
Yeah.
Where oh, here we go. We're back again. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that kind of thing. Let's have a look who's here to see. Our Des is here. He said he's going to be interesting. Our Gap's here. Let's have a look. Kieran's here. TJC, the lovely Gerard. Matt's collection. He's a big Star Wars fan. He'll enjoy tonight. Nice of Shabby to have Keith on tonight after he thrashed him in the Thistledew pub quiz. Yes, yeah, well, yeah, I suppose so. You know what I mean? I was the Everton to his Liverpool. I'll just say that. You know, so Up is here. Higher ups. Emma Guppy's here. Higher M's. Let's have a look who else is here. I get down. Zoe T's here. Hi, Zoe. Emma Guppy, can you give us a sneak peek? Patience. APD, are you APD? The lovely Red 5 Designs is here. Hi, guys. Nice to see you. Keith's here. Hi, Keith. Donuts here. Wow, it's full house, boys. Full house. Let's have a look. Martin's here, saying hello to everybody. Travels with Jason is here. Wow, this is massive. So I'll get down a bit and then we'll start more or less. Nick, when are you going back to far, far away land?
Far, far away land?
In the States, it must mean Disney.
Oh, nah. Next time I go there, I'll be visiting you, Shabby. I'm done with Disney now. I think that's me. I've explored that as much as it can be. And I think they're destroying it as well. I don't know. I was watching something earlier about this Rivers of America. I can't get over that they're filling that in and getting rid of all that. But anyway, that's a completely different discussion.
No, I know what you mean, though. But our side was talking about
in intellectual property for the sake of putting in IP. It's just
yeah.
That's not what Disney are about.
It's weird because I think that's why I have never gone there. Have you been to Disney, Keith? Have you ever been?
I've never been.
No, I never have. And it's down the road. It's only 9 hours drive, I suppose. But I think it's because my kids aren't interested in it. They're not that bothered. And I'd feel weird if I went, I'd love to go. You know what I mean? Because I know they're all meeting up in November. And they've said, Shabby, would you want to come down? And I thought, yeah, I'll probably, I don't know, I probably will do. But Si wants to go to LA, Star Wars Celebration in LA.
Oh, yeah, that'd be awesome. I'd love to do that. Yeah.
And I said, if we do that, I'll road trip it across and then just fly back. Do you know what I mean? Take Si through the States and do it that way. But
I've got a mate in LA and I know people like Lara Revere are there. And, it'd be great. I've never been to Anaheim either. So I'd love to do that. But I don't know if really, I don't know if I'm going to do it or not.
So the one that you do is always Disney World then?
Yeah.
Right. Got you. Let's have a look. Who else is here? Pods is here. Palps is here. Blooming neck, it is packed. Hi, Ray. Thanks for coming in, buddy. Nice to see Ray's here. Good old John's here. Red 5 Designs. Andor was bloody great. Well, we'll talk about that now because obviously me and Keith, I know what Keith thinks about it, but yourself, what do you think about Andor?
Me?
Oh, yeah, both of you. What did you think?
It was great. The only I'm a little bit. I like a bit of a galactic fight or a bit of a spaceship bit, and that's the only thing I'd say. It was lacking a little bit of the thing that would just make it amazing for me. If they'd just shown a bit of Darth Vader, a bit of Palpatine, or just a little bit of the Star Destroyer next to a Death Star, a little bit of that, then it would have been top notch 10. It probably
watch Rogue One.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. So it was probably for me. It was a 9 rather than a 10, but really good viewing. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, and I love the format of 3 at a time.
I was going to say, did you enjoy? I loved that.
Yeah, that was good.
I thought it worked so well. Well, the amount of times we've watched another, like a Kenobi or something, and they'll bring out like a filler episode or an episode that's done, and then we spend the week going, "Oh, it's crap." But then the week after is, if you would have done it in the 3, then I don't think we'd have any issue. I loved that format.
Yeah, it's better.
In the movie. Yeah, I thought I loved that.
Given the pace of them as well, you would have been really frustrated watching one and then having to wait a whole week to.
What did you think? Did you really like it?
I have to say that, the Gorman Massacre or all that, it exploded like the pace of the series and everything. My only regret with the series is we didn't get that on the final episode. They obviously wrapped it up and tied up the loose ends, and we got the closure, the montage of where everyone is and moving on into Rogue One. But it didn't have the climax that you got with the Ferrex riot or the Gorman Massacre, which was mid-season, wasn't it? Or 3/4 in, wasn't it? That finale was just epic.
Do you think it's deliberately because it's going into Rogue One?
Maybe. Maybe.
Because I thought the same as you, coming down off the 3rd week, if you will, of the Massacre of Gorman and so forth. You were up there. You thought, but I think I didn't realize it's going into a movie. This it takes you to that movie, so it's not going to be as epic and so forth. Because they would have talked about it, wouldn't be in Rogue One if they would. So, but I liked it.
Last episode, there was a lot of people just sat around the table talking, you know what I mean? Just sat in a apartment, you know what I mean? And on the island, really good in conversations to hear and everything, but it was just a bit of a fizzle out, really.
Well, there's just one thing I've said on a few things before about it, and it's like sometimes I'll watch these shows and I don't know where Star Wars is going, because you'll watch the Skeleton Crew, you'll watch the Acolyte, you watch this, and even though it's under the same banner, it's three completely different things.
Oh man,
you know what I mean?
wherever it's going,
all over the place.
it just has to have the same quality. You know, you could just tell that this was a notch right up there, stratospheric quality of writing. And but with Skeleton Crew, I didn't dislike it, but I didn't feel any desire to rewatch it. You know,
That's
I
the
watched
same
it
as
once.
me. I liked it, but it wasn't Star Wars for me. Yeah. So you two would like to keep it on this thing then? This.
It doesn't have to be as dark as this was or whatever, but it certainly just has to have that. It's, you know, reeked of, you know, profound, like deep research or writing and depth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Quality, just quality.
Definitely keep that format of 3 little stories, a bigger arc. That is spot on, and it keeps you engaged. Like you say, waiting a week for each one would have been not good.
Give Tony Gilroy the keys to the kingdom, innit?
You would though, wouldn't you? I mean, I've got to admit, you I mean, I know our side's not a massive fan of it and so forth, which I can understand. It's more slower paced. It is more, you know what I mean? You're not getting, like what Keith said, you're not getting your stars in your Star Wars, if you will. But I loved it. Like I said, being a big book reader, I just thought it was just a beautiful story. And I mean, it's funny, and I said on ZSR, it's funny because they all make it out like we're just sexist. Oh, you don't like girls, but the 5 women in this were perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
All 5 of them. I could have watched them out.
Quality of character, not, you know, anything else.
There we go. So Gary says an Airbnb. Should we do an Airbnb, lads, at Star Wars Celebration in LA? Yeah, I reckon.
Do you know? That's sorry to interrupt there. There's one thing I noticed with this with Andor. You know, they had that whole disaster with that hotel, the Star Wars hotel, the Galactic Star Cruiser. Yeah. And then I was looking at some of the scenes in Andor, and I was getting these mad Disney World flashbacks. They were sat around in Yavin in those little kind of Kashyyyk style tree houses, whatever they were. And I thought, bloody hell, man, they could make. That's your hotel right there, something like that.
Look at what Epic Universe has done with those with the Harry Potter land and
they should have done that. Set it on Batu Hotel. You know, Christ Almighty.
To me, it was always just the price for that, Keith and Nick. It was just, am I supposed to turn around to my missus and go, listen, that $6,000 we've got for that cruise you want to go, can we spend it on 2 nights at a hotel itself?
Yeah.
It was
just a warehouse, a shed. You know what I mean? An air-conditioned shed, isn't it? Ridiculous.
And then she'll go, is Han Solo there? No. Well, he's Luke
Star
there.
Trek.
Then.
Star Trek themed as well, wasn't it? Well, you know what I mean? It didn't really.
Message for Gary. Message for Gary. Can you just book it up, mate? And we'll be there. I'm definitely going to that.
I reckon we should all. Yeah, I mean, 2 years away. It's like I was thinking about it, and I was talking to Scoobs about it and so forth. But our size on for it, I think that'd be good. That you know. But, yeah, we'll hire an RV on my end, and we'll just drive over. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, wow, brilliant.
It'll be easy. So let's just see. Rob's Metro's here as well. Wow, everybody's turned up. Awesome. Hi, Cat's here too. Hello in the chat, Big Audi Q3 lads. I think all the Star Wars lads are going to come in tonight, aren't they? Definitely. Releasing 3 crap episodes together. He's still 3 crap episodes.
I disagree with that. Cobblers.
He wasn't a fan of the Acolyte. No, that was.
Oh, you talking about the Acolyte? Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Dave, I'm so sorry. I thought you'd said Acolyte. I thought you hated Acolyte. I mean, sorry, Andor. Sorry.
Well, this is what I mean. You look at that show and you look at Andor, and that's what I meant before. It's like chalk and cheese. It's just weird to me. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you know, one of the nicest things for me, Keith and Nick, about Star Wars is the characters in it. And if you give them such depth, you can make spin-offs. So I'd watch a Lutheran and Clara TV show. I'd watch a Deidre TV show. I'd watch it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. If you have these characters and you establish them and then they spin off, I'm just glad they didn't kill that Deidre, because I've got a funny feeling if he does come back and does something else, he'll bring her back. They'll have to get her out of prison to do. She's the one that found, you know, Axis. So let's bring her out. And I'd love something like that.
Deidre spin-off. Well, that's interesting. Isn't it?
And
that would work with chronology with her age as well, wouldn't it? You know what I mean? That's great.
You could bring it back in between if you do something like a Shadows of the Empire between
Empire
and Jedi.
Anything of that.
Find these 4 rebels. That'd be awesome.
So was that Andor's child at the end that we saw?
I think it was Ryan Gosling's from Starfighter. Because I don't think it was Paul Dameron. It was Andor's child, obviously. Yeah, I would think that's why they did it.
You reckon it's with Ryan Gosling?
Yeah, I think it's going to.
Oh wow! Oh, I see.
Well, the reason I think that is because this.
I never thought that.
Well, they said that they're going to set the Starfighter film 5 years after the Rise of Skywalker.
Oh, what a clever little tie-in that is. That's great.
That's the thing, though. But one thing they do in Star Wars, which we all agree on, is they connect it. There's always a connection between all of them. Well, if you're going to go all the way up to there,
make a new universe. They can even bring Diego Luna back to play him even older, whatever. I don't know. The granddad version of.
I just got a funny feeling that Ryan Gosling is Bix and Cassian's son. I just got a feeling. Wow. I know it's not Poe Dameron, because if you read Shattered Empire and you heard about his mum and dad, blah blah blah, it's not them. But there we go. So Martin Long wants to renew the Acolyte. What do you think of that, Keith?
Why is that not charging?
Sorry. It's a great crutch shot you got there going on. By the way,
What a butt shot!
Crutch shot.
He's trying to figure out my phone ain't charging, man. What's going on there?
Shabby, we are not getting our stars to our Star Wars, right? Oh, now this is, what do you think of this? Book 2 launch at Celebration. What can you say about that? That's awesome. Unbelievable. Book 2. I've been seeing it all on Facebook. Have you seen this, Nate? Book 2 launch at Celebration right there. So the Book 2 launch will be around.
Wow. The vehicles and play sets.
Yeah. Red Fire Design. Get a TVC on. I'll help you with some of the. If you need any help.
How's your TV looking for both of you? Because I know you two it's like you'll find variants and cards that are different and that kind of thing. Is it getting harder to find now?
Nick's much more into that than I am. I mean,
it's not hard. There's just so much out there. I mean, I could have pulled the trigger. I saw something the other day, which was technically something I needed, but I didn't get it. I knew if I bide my time, I'll find it again. It just wasn't the right price. It was just more than I wanted to pay. There's so much stuff for TVC 1.0 that it's great. I love it.
Post, I'd love to see a story like this. I reckon there is. Because I like these kind of things. It's like Andor's done for Rogue One what Rogue One did for A New Hope. You watch these movies now in a different light. And everyone that said there's a few. I even did it myself. I didn't watch all of Rogue One, but once it finished, it goes on Disney over it. It goes straight into Rogue One. So I watched the first 10 minutes. Felt like a completely different movie. Felt like a new Cassian Moore, and so I would love that. But I think you need somebody like this, or not necessarily Tony Gilroy, but you need someone at this platform, like Keith said, to do so. Especially if you're hitting the original trilogy, post Empire, before Jedi, that'd be awesome. Do you know what I mean? I'd love that, to tell you the truth. I think that'd be brilliant.
I still want to do something with the World Between Worlds somehow, to maybe, if we can get that tangent, to kind of, Are
you interested in World Between Worlds live action, though?
I want that to be a way of having, like, I don't know, 7, 8, 9,
everybody back,
and then 7, 8, 9.5 or whatever, 2.0 or whatever. You know what I mean? Like how it should have been. Let's just do it again. Let's get Mark Hamill back. Do it right. I don't know. I hate going on about that. I do. I need to get over it, but it's just, we're stuck with them now, aren't we? You know what I'm talking about. I don't know.
I just hope they see this. I just hope they see, and go, that's where we need to be. That's where we need to be at this level. It's Star Wars. Do you know what I mean? And I've said it I said it on Martin and Adams. I find it refreshing, lads, to sit there and enjoy Star Wars again. Oh, this is awesome. Do you know what I mean?
Just be thankful we had it, you know what I mean? And we have had something that brought it back, to that nice feeling.
I completely agree. I'd rather be like this than piss and moan about it. I don't think any of us want to moan about it.
No. Bang, we're just upset, and
it's just crazy. It really is. So everyone's turned up. We've got nearly 50 people here already. So thank you all so much. That's fantastic. I really appreciate that. They need to do a Plagueis series and a Bane series. That would be awesome if done right. What do you think, boys?
Yeah, definitely. Plagueis would be great. We saw a little snapshot of him, didn't we? So that'd be amazing. A bit more about apprentice with Palpatine and all that would be really good. A bit of a backstory. Yeah, be fantastic.
Young Sheev would be awesome, wouldn't it? Young Sheev, how he got there from Naboo.
From Naboo, the Tales of Naboo or something. Yeah, that'd be, imagine Tony Gilroy doing that. The politics behind that and his rise up the... Jesus, I've never even thought about that.
And that does have to be more than a project.
Yeah,
awesome. that would be absolutely...
Just don't give that to Leslie. I don't think she'll Did that just?
No, I don't.
He's already had a crack at doing Plagueis, and it wasn't. Oh, that was the worst episode. That last.
I don't think
the kids are Plagueis or something like that.
Oh, I quite like the Acolyte when it started. I was quite into it. You know, I have to say, I felt like I was the only one who was kind of giving it a chance. But by the end, I'd signed off that, man. They lost the plot.
No,
the thing with Yoda was wrong, wasn't it? That whole thing of his naivety.
The thing about I just laughed all the way through it. It was the best comedy I'd seen in years. I just thought it was funny. It was just so badly. Honestly, it's like they went into a kindergarten with crayons and said, "Write a new Star Wars," and all these things. They are, you know. Quick question: why is Keith in the bathroom?
Well, you feel got these two in the bathroom.
Well, anyway, this has been awesome. We're 20 minutes in, but we're here to have a look at Nick and Keith's top 5. But before we get to the top 5, let's do an honourable mention. Right, so Keith, I'll start with you right here. Now, I've got some videos that you've sent it, Keith, and let's have a look. So, Keith, you just explain in your top 5 what these are. Wait till you see these, Nick. These are unbelievable.
So these are what you can see behind me. So these are Monument Sideshow reproductions of the original Star Wars figures. You can get Darth Vader. I've got obviously Stormtrooper, and that lightsaber comes out and moves like it would on an original vintage figure. And then you've got the Stormtrooper, which comes with a blaster as well. And they did 4 of these. They did these 2, which are amazing.
Wow.
I've only ever seen these 2 for sale, and that's it. And I bought them. But they do those of you who know, I'll do a Boba Fett, and they also do the R2D2. And I've never seen those two for sale. So I would snap your hand off for the Boba Fett one. I think there were about 6 or maybe 800 produced worldwide of each of them. But as I said, a Gentle Giant limited edition. I don't quite know the release numbers, but there's about 600 or 800. But yeah, they're great. They're brilliant. As I said the other day, if I ever got round to doing what I want to do is have a little museum, I would build a card back to suit this size and display it.
They've done it to scale as well, because that Vader is bigger than that Stormtrooper.
Absolutely, yeah. The Vader is about 7 foot tall, and the Stormtrooper is about 5'10". So they're to scale.
Yeah. What did your missus say when you brought these home, Keith?
I think she came with me to get them actually, and it's the only things I'm allowed downstairs. Fair enough. So yeah, she came. In fact, the Darth Vader was still in its like coffin box and never been opened up. It was brand spanking new. But you to get the Boba Fett or R2D2 is the R2D2's even got a clicking head if you ever get one.
Emma said, "Put them in the toilet." Yeah. And Red 5 Designs has asked, are we allowed to ask how much they were?
Well, I bought them pretty damn cheap. I bought them for, I reckon they're about 1,200 quid each. When I bought them about
That's not bad at
8-9 years ago, maybe 10 years ago. But you just don't see them. I mean, I said, I've never seen these again for sale. One was local, one was 50 miles away. One was, we had to go to, I think we had Leicester to get the Darth Vader.
And are they officially licensed product as well?
Yeah, the Sideshow. Yeah, the Sideshow. So
Sideshow's done them.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen these before, Nick?
I've never seen them. Nah, I've seen a full size like that at launch bay at Hollywood Studios. They had a kind of Vader. It was like human size. That's 12 inches, you say, Keith? Yeah.
No, that's full size. They're full size.
Life size.
Yes, I mean that. Yeah, I'm so sorry. I thought so. It's because I'm looking at the small screen. I'm sorry. Yeah, I have seen one. Maybe it's what you have, Keith, at Launch Bay. It was awesome.
Do you think they'll carry on doing different characters, Keith?
Well, they've done 4. As I said, they haven't done one for about 4 years. I don't know whether they will anymore. But if anyone can ever find a Boba Fett, give me a call or reach out because I need it.
Oh, that would be awesome. That would be so cool. That.
Yeah, they've done them, and you can get them mostly in the States, obviously. But I would die for a Boba Fett one.
Awesome. That's unbelievable.
And they're articulated exactly the same as the original vintage figures.
So they've got the 5 points of articulation.
Like I said, the Darth Vader lightsaber comes, pulls out like it would, and it's got the vinyl cape cloak on it, and it's yeah.
That'll be 4 POA, wouldn't it, for the Stormy?
Well, yeah. When he sent me the pictures, I was like, I have never seen. I've seen Sideshow do that real life ones like the Vader and but I've never seen them do the Kenner figures.
They obviously do what Nick was referring. They do the jumbos, which are about that big.
Yeah,
they do them, but then they did a few. I think it was 600 of each. I think they did worldwide, but they never come up for sale, hardly ever.
Have you ever worn Vader's cape, Keith? That's a good question. Put it on. He might rip underneath it. Do you know what I mean? Remember that always went, did it? Always. Smith Lord says, for $5,000, Keith, I'll taxidermy Tez and I'll put him in a Boba Fett costume.
That's cheap.
Look, everyone's asking if you tried the cloak on, Keith. Look, they're not interested in the figures, just like if you tried the cloak.
What you look like? God.
Right, Nick, let me make you bigger. What's your
all right, man? Yeah, the sun is setting in here, so I will turn the light on in here eventually, but I just like keep it in natural light for now. My honorable mention is, let me just unplug me. Hang on a sec. Yeah, it's got to be the Falcon, right? Because, it's just, can you still hear me all right?
Yeah, but be
just double checking I haven't cut you off. Well, there's 2 to talk about. There's that, which is the later release of it. It's the BMF, isn't it? The big Millennium Falcon.
Yes, sir.
The PVC Galaxy's Edge one. I just love it, man. It's just parked there. I always have it on that angle so you can see the cockpit like that. It's always in the back of my videos, but really, let's just tip our hat to the Legacy Collection one up there, which is just the. I knew that would happen. Did you hear that? Crash bang effing wallet, man. What
everyone went, ah!
It's crap anyway. It's that shit for that E-wing for the so but it's just it's brilliant. I've got so many big vehicles in here, but I've got other things that are just kind of. I put that in my top 5, but it's just. Everyone loves the Falcon anyway. It's the cliche love thing, isn't it? Really. So I just thought put that in my honorable mentions just to give it some respect.
I remember your video on that, mate. I remember because they left it outside your house, didn't they? That was the one, wasn't
it? Yeah, that's right.
Left it outside. But I remember you comparing it. Apart from the sounds and a couple of weatherings, there's no difference at all, is there, between them both?
Well, but the weather is a really big important thing with it. I mean, that one looks great from the top anyway, because you get more, whatever you want to call it, weathering from the looking top side anyway. So I quite like having that mounted on the wall, but this one is just perfect because it looks so rustic and how I want the Falcon to look in its definitive sort of form. But ironically, this one I've not put any of the stickers in. This one it's completely mint with regards to that. The stickers are on the sheet still somewhere. But and I never open it or anything like that. It's just parked there, just looking like Star Wars. You know what I mean? Looking like the Falcon.
It is amazing. Awesome. It is a fantastic ship. Keith, do you have that one?
Yeah, I obviously not loose, but I've got that one. But I've got that one, the Smuggler's Run one, and there was another one. There was a vintage collection in the Toys R Us, like original Star Wars throwback one. But yeah. I'm a bit jealous because I see these loose like this, and I think, oh God, because I don't open anything, and so I'm a little bit jealous he's got it all loose.
Look at the way only one's got it. Do you never fancy doing that like that, making it all?
The thing about the Falcon, I had one that was faulty, and I got that replaced. But yeah, it's just awesome, man.
Absolutely.
I just lost my train of thought. But yeah, that's incredible.
Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Look at
you got the Ghost there, obviously, as well. They're nice to have next to each other. But see, that one's got a lot of empty space. People have talked about that. All this stuff in here, could have been something in there. It's just nothing really. There's obviously the inside, but I don't know. They could have done something else with it.
That's what I would have thought they would have done. I remember our side messaging me about that, and I watched the video. I think it was Scott Whitehouse that was clipping these together. And I was like, oh, is it just like a corridor then? And I think the same way as you. For that price, I think they would have just taken the lids off like they do for the Falcon, the playset, and done it a bit different. But
I have just thought about what I was going to say. I'm sorry. I was going to just talk about the fact that, I did have the original Falcon back in the day. Got it for Christmas back in 86 or 7. And then I loved it, but what I love about that is that's just the perfect sequel. You know, it's a 4-seater cockpit, bigger. But, you know, I don't know. I've never felt compelled to get myself an original one. You know what I mean? Because I had it, and that's back in the past. Now this is the future, if that makes sense.
No, it makes perfect. I mean, I've got mine right there, and I've got the same Star Wars logo sign that you've got that lights up on it.
Oh, yeah. I've got a Stormtrooper one. Yeah, I've got a Stormtrooper one as well behind that. It's a total mess in here, by the way, lads. I'm going to be very specific about where I point the camera. It's a mess. I need to get in here and sort it out. But yeah, there's another one there. A Stormtrooper head one. Can I zoom in? Nah, I'm struggling here. But there you go. There you go.
Looks fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. So Star Wars, brilliant so far. Emma Guppy asks, ask Keith about his Stormtrooper outfit on New Year's Eve. So if you'd like to share that story with us, Keith. There's only over 50 people watching.
No, I had a 501st Stormtrooper outfit, you know, the proper job.
Yeah.
And the first time, I think the second time I wore it was at a New Year's Eve party. And it was New Year's Eve, so it's freezing cold outside. And so the minute I walked in with this Stormtrooper outfit, it was obviously a fancy dress party. The eyes just you know, straight away, you couldn't see anything out the eyes. So I stood at this party, I drilled a hole for the nose of a Stormtrooper helmet, put a straw in it, and I stood there all night couldn't see a thing all night, just sucking on cocktails and stuff. And I was absolutely obliterated. And during the night, I had to go for a loo. So Emma took me in the car park, and I was down to my black leotard and did that and got dressed again. But on the way home, we got up in the morning, and I went, well, there's bits missing on my suit, and the pub's 100 yards up the road, and all down the road there was little bits of Stormtrooper outfit all dotted all along in the hedge all the way home.
Picking it all up.
The little tip: if you've got a Stormtrooper outfit, you like dressing up, don't do it in cold weather when it's hot in the pub and you're drinking. All right, just a few tips.
That's brilliant. Wow, love that Star Wars collection. Yeah, they're both these lads. Honestly, listen, I think you would live under a rock if you're not, you know, subscribed to Only One or Mando No. 5. But if you're not, the links are in their chats. Have a look at these lads' collections. They are definitely something else. Is it a coincidence that only One Kenobi in his loose room as Keith keeps everything boxed? This is interesting though, because you've got best of both worlds, haven't you, Nick? You've got your room that's all closed up, and then you've got your room that's open. Did you never fancy doing that, Keith, where you had a part that was open, part that wasn't?
I can't. I haven't got a room, mate. No,
right.
I've got a room. I've just got everything boxed, and that's it. And if I opened it, I'd probably get away with half the size room. But yeah, no, I'm just into sealed stuff. Although occasionally I do. If when I watch Nick's videos and people like that, I was like, oh, I could just open that. It looks so nice. And
yeah,
I like loose. If I ever get anything loose, I like getting it graded in acrylic because it just looks great on display.
Yeah.
You've got a couple of things in your top 5 that I was going to ask you about that as well, because I've put protective cases. I don't open my Black Series at all. I keep them all closed. And I've got the protective cases to go around them and so forth. But I do get tempted because the masters that you can see behind me, they're all open as soon as they get them. I rip them open.
Yeah. See these here, Shabby, that I've started collecting. They look really nice in the packaging, but I have been opening them. But he looks awesome. That's the Hogan figure. I probably just got this. But I will get him out because I've started the series for one thing. But I'm a big Hogan fan. But also same deal with like TVC. You get it out, and it's just amazing. You know, you can't see what it can do and what it's like if it's in a packet. You need to get it out. You know what I mean? So let it breathe, as they say, or whatever.
For me, it's the vehicles and ships and play sets that I really want to get out. You know, I've got my Ghost. I got that out. You know,
and you can't see it, Keith, can you? Sorry to cut in on you. You can't see it in the box. That's the problem with vehicles. Like rubbish.
No. I mean, let's look at Slave One. You've just shown yours. A Slave One on the stand is one, I really want to just open up because it looks great stood up on the stand.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
Gab wants to know, why is only One Kenobi sitting on the floor? Is it because he spent all his money on collectibles?
Yeah, well, this is how I make my videos. I sit on my ass here. Yeah, I've got a little table in front of me, and then that's how I do it, man. Yeah, that's it.
George Aikens says, I agree about the Ghost. It was a lot of wasted, but it was in a way. So, do you think, although you never really
It looks great, but
does anyone know, if you look at the schematics online, if you probably get, is there actually something in those wings? Is there like compartments in those wings?
I don't know if they put something like, I don't know, storage or something like that, maybe a little pod. Like on the Falcon, you got that escape pod, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, if you see that, like I said, that Legacy Falcon behind you, that BMF, I mean, the space in it and everything else in it is unbelievable. And then when we looked at even toys all the way up to the early 2000s, all these play sets were absolutely, you can open everything up.
Yeah.
It's just funny that a HasLab, as that's what I mean, it's awesome to look at. Don't get me wrong, it's fantastic to look at. What a great vehicle. But
I've got a mate who thinks that when they re-released the Legacy Falcon, the Galaxy's Edge TVC one, they should have got rid of the soundboard and maybe made another inside compartment, so it was like a complete donut. You know what I mean? The whole inside was a massive circle. Made a bedroom or something like that. I don't know, but that was quite a good idea. But instead, they redid it with the soundboard and everything, which I'm not that fussed on lights and sounds myself.
Where is the cantina going in the only one Kenobi room?
Oh, Gary Moore, dude, I thought you'd know the answer to that one, Gary. I'm gonna put it on the shelves. I'm gonna opt for the modular, straight across. You know what I mean? Because otherwise, it'll look like if you got it in a room like this, as opposed to the Falcon, which is just sat looking like a vehicle. You've got the cantina put together from the outside. It looked like the set of the Nostromo from Alien in '79, you know what I mean? You see the outside of it and everything, and I suppose you can use it for toy photography and get in it and enjoy it that way. But I just want to have it as a background for my characters and have people in there on the shelves, you know what I mean? Because right now I've got all my Cantina aliens here and it's rammed, it's rubbish, that shelf. But I'll be able to spread them all out. You do your
shelves by eras and genres, don't you? Like your new open shelf,
kind
your
of
one shelf, your V shelf. I like that. I like that. Look, I have some breaking news, Keith. I have some breaking news.
Oh no!
Someone that you know says for another puppy, Keith, you can have the next spare room. I'll tell you, that's a bargain. That, do you know what I mean?
Oh, look at that deal! I love that.
You could do a better deal for a spare room. Look at that.
Yeah, Adam, Warren, I'm with you there, mate.
Hi.
BOE says, I wish I could still sit on the floor. I don't think I'd ever
get back up.
So Connor Fuller says, Keith Guppy on the tubes. He's right there. There he is. So cheers, Connor, for that. Could have added another corridor, says George. Yeah, they could have done something, but it's like I said, it's easy for me to sit here and bitch and say about it. I never bought it. So I always like to ask the people that have what they think. And I think the majority of you really like it, don't you? You're happy with the Ghost. And I think, but that's the thing that usually comes up for me when I hear of people that have bought it. They could have done a little bit in the wings and stuff like that. So
it's not doing really well on the second-hand market, is it really?
Is it not? How do you have? I mean, is the Katana a nose expensive to pound the second?
I think that's what Tim was saying. The Cantina, you'll find that probably will go up in value.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, what with the Tonicas in there, and there weren't as many units sold. I guess I don't know. I'm no expert really, but what do you think, Keith?
Yeah, I can't remember the numbers now. I just check my video out. Little plug there, but
shame.
I would imagine it's
will you can tell, can't you? It will.
What would you like them to make? So let me ask you both a question for your next. If you had the choice, being both Star Wars fans and collectors, what would you like?
I know what. I'm sorry, Keith. Do you mind if I go first? I know exactly. A sandcrawler all day, because I've got a droid shelf right now and it's getting bigger and bigger. But not only does the sandcrawler look amazing, but it would be just a perfect place to put all your droids. Just imagine that. Not just the ones that are in A New Hope, but just everything. Just fill it full of your droid factory stuff, man, and it'd be awesome.
You could take the whole side out and make it like a Wendy house kind of look. You know, like a Wendy house. You should open it up and you'd see all the different floors and all that. You could do that with a sandcrawler.
Yeah, there's those guys who did that video, and it wasn't ridiculously big. It was just bigger than what they've already put out, and it was just perfect. I don't know if they 3D printed it or what, but I need to find that video again and talk about it. But it looked awesome. I'd definitely buy one if they made something that sort of size and made one like that, I should say.
Yeah, sandcrawler would be cool. What about you, Keith? What would you think?
I'd like a shuttle of some kind, maybe a shuttle Tidarium or Krennic shuttle or something. Or what I really want is Tantive 5, but you buy it in modules and you can slowly build up to a 8-foot long model after buying about 6 different versions of it, and you build it all together.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. Just imagine that.
When I pitched that to the what's the guy's name?
Emma.
From a Hasbro.
You think about that,
to a Hasbro guy, he just looked at me and went, okay, yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Keith. That's what it's duly noted. After Andor, we will need a HasLab U-Wing.
Oh,
got the one that came out. That was awesome as well. Rhinos come to see us. Hi, Rhinos. I would love for an Ethan, what's it? Ebon Hawk from Knights of the Old Republic. The only way that would happen is that could happen. But would that sell as big though? I think original trilogy really does well in HasLabs, doesn't it? I mean, that's like the Cantina did well, and a Sandcrawler I think could do well. What do you think?
Yeah, it would.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what they do next. If they jump to 6-inch or what, give them another go.
I wonder.
ATST or something.
I wonder who'd want to win the house for their Gem Dolls. I said there's comedians in the chat. There's comedians in there.
There is, like, isn't there? Yeah.
Mon Mothma's floaty rave speaker is the next.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
Remember
Disco droid.
A drone one. You could just fly around the house.
Yeah, disco droid. And also, they need to sell whatever she drank as well, whatever that cocktail mix was, and she just went off her head, didn't she?
I think mine that bit because look at the pressure that she's on. She just let herself go for 10 minutes, just forgot everything.
I love Chandrilla culture. I love their culture. What with the squigglies, the worm they put in the drink. You're drinking squigglies, mum. You know, brilliant.
Yeah.
And then she didn't want one, did she? And then he's like, I'll have hers. So what is it? Sagrona Tima. Yeah, I love that.
Loved it. Brilliant. I mean, and the music was awesome as well. I mean, it's not necessarily Star Wars, but it fitted with what she was doing. She was fed up, wanted to back to Eve, so I don't blame her. Anyway, let's get to number 5. It seems as though we've got only one right there. Only one. What is your number 5, my friend?
Number 5. Well, to be honest, I don't know. I've got my list here, but I don't know what order I'm putting them in. Isn't that ridiculous? No. Have you had any guests who've not known what they're doing on here before?
No, you can pick whatever you want, pal.
Yeah, I still haven't quite. I'm just going as I go. Let me have a think about this now. Well, let's go with what have we got here now. Yeah, well, we'll go with the barge, since we're talking about HasLab. We'll go with the barge. Which is just has to be. I mean, am I doing the right thing here, Shabby? This is going to be all Star Wars. There's nothing beyond that.
It's your top 5, buddy.
Oh, that's all right. Good stuff, man.
Whatever you want.
This is what I do, man. This is the main thing I do with regards to collecting. But here's the barge, and this is just like very special. Maybe I should have put it higher on my list. I don't know, but because I was very lucky to get this. You got one, right, Keith?
Yep.
Of course he did. Yeah. And,
yeah, that's the one I kicked myself for not backing. That's the one. That's the one. It's just
not bad for was it 400 quid?
That's what I mean. Yeah.
You were all right, weren't you, Shabby? You were over there. We were up against it. You know, they didn't make it available.
That was so daft.
Terrible.
Especially something like that. Because it's like I've said, there's a few countries besides the United States that are huge Star Wars. I mean, basically, original trilogy was made in England, you know, so for them not to put out.
Can I ask a question? How would you guys feel if they released it again
for
500 quid?
Well, how would you feel backing it and getting all the rigmarole of getting it? You know what I mean? Because for me, it'd be because I'd like it because it gives me the opportunity to get one. But I always thought that with the lads that have backed it and all that, and they told them at the time it was. How would you feel about it?
Well, it would be good for the people who didn't back it, obviously, and didn't get it. So that would be nice. But I don't know, man. Part of me thinks that they should because they could have flogged a whole lot more. I know that much, couldn't they? Yeah. And it wasn't fair on those people who didn't get it. But
you're breaking a sort of golden rule, aren't you? Because then they can do it everyone, and no one's going to back anything maybe in the future. So I don't know. But now to get one of those, you're talking in the UK, $2,000 plus, isn't it?
Wow,
so, ridiculous! Isn't it?
Wow. Des T said, "Will we actually get a HasLab each year for vintage collection?"
More or less, I think. I mean, the cantinas will be. When's that coming out? The fall this year, I think it is. So they've got to be announcing a new one soon, unless they've been scared by all these Trump bloody tariffs. I don't know.
We're gonna win so big. We're gonna win big. Keith Guppy, he's a great guy, but he's not sure what he's talking about. He's making as much sense as Cricket Hillary right now.
Nick sent me a $5 if I mentioned Trump, so we could do his impression.
Oh, brilliant!
I love doing that. I love that.
Oppie said Ewing would be about 4 foot in length for true scale. It'd be massive.
That's it. You've got to do a true scale one. Definitely, it'd be great.
Has there ever been a scale in HasLab? Because, like I said, you two have got them. I've never got them. That you've not been happy with. That should have been bigger, or.
Just if I'm doing the right thing.
They've all been about right. I think.
Checking I've got the settings right.
Unless you're talking to Ant-Man or a Galacticus, then it should be a lot bigger. But I think generally they've been pretty good. They'd be stupid not to, because why would you build a HasLab Star Wars that's not going to be relatively to scale? Obviously, everyone's going to go, what's the point of that? So they got to do it right. Yeah.
The biggest piss take was that lightsaber, that Reva lightsaber. Nothing to do with her. It was just a ridiculous thing to do, really. You know,
especially at $500 over here. $500 for that lightsaber of a character no one's ever heard of. And
it didn't even spin. If they figured out a way for it to like do that spin thing, then everyone would be like, "Whoa!" You know, but it didn't even do that, man. It just
and then you had the Rancor, didn't you? The Black Series Rancor didn't go through, and
no,
I would have backed that, but I remember the day. I remember that night when you saw those tears. I thought, my God, man.
Stormtrooper in the end. Do you remember that? We were like,
horrible.
What happened? Do you know what I mean? It was. I think what it was for me, the whole marketing was wrong. They didn't even show a finished product; it showed digital renderings and stuff. And I was like, if you can't even be asked making one to show us, it's a bit difficult for us lot to go. Oh, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Smith Lord's got a point there. I would love to see a Cylon Raider from Battlestar Galactica. That would be amazing. I love that
big chrome one. That would be awesome. Yeah, to tell you the truth, I think they should have released it internationally. Now speaking with you lads in the UK, was that the only HasLab that was difficult to get hold of? After that, the rest of them were easy to get.
Yeah, it was on eBay, wasn't it, Keith?
Well, yeah, it was on eBay.
Crazy.
It was on eBay. Now I think they had 600 on eBay that you had to be really quick on. So, and they were like, I'm sure it was like 399 quid. So they released them on eBay really quickly, which is really odd. So from that terms, I had more than one, but I got some from was it Dark Side Toys? They were charging you a premium. They had a container coming.
Oh yeah,
you remember that, Nick?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, oh God, yeah. How can we forget that character?
Yeah, because I wasn't sure whether you get one on eBay, all right. So I doubled up my luck and I was all right. But
there was a bit of a controversy. Delvian Seek brought it up when he did his top 5 about it. There was a controversy there. One that he went out of business or something.
Well, not long after that, all that whole business with the barge, he did. He just completely floundered.
To be fair, he delivered them, and there was a lot of more worry. But I also got one. I've got a US post box, and I got one that route as well. But by the time I paid postage for one of those from the States UK, it was effing nightmare. So
I wouldn't be surprised if that was one of the reasons why he went under. I don't know the full story, but it was all very dodgy after that period when he was dealing with those bulk barges. Weird. But I didn't say that earlier. That was one of the reasons why I love this so much. It was just that whole period of getting home, getting ready to go on eBay because we'd heard this tip off that they were going live or whatever via Fantha Tracks, and just winning one. I was just buzzing. I just loved it. I was like, wow, felt like such a lucky, like I'd won the lottery or something. It was just brilliant to be a part of it that night.
Hey, Stu, Matt's collection. Everyone's coming to say it's been. But if I had the money for the barge, I'd spend it on the Jazzwares Batmobile for Hot Toys. Said the 66 one.
Have you guys seen it? I nearly bought it about 6 months ago. The Jazzwares Snow Speeder. It is like it's a 6 scale snow speeder. It's absolutely amazing. And I saw one on eBay earlier in the year, and I so nearly pulled the trigger on it. It's really, really nice.
Yeah, Gap has been timed out. You've been timed. No one's timed you out. I don't think, buddy. Don't think anyone's timed you out here, mate. With 2 big Liverpool fans on. Do you want to know the halftime score?
I'm going to guess.
If we hadn't already won the league, I'd be wanting to watch that right now. Well, I'd still want to watch it.
I guess, and I'm not watching it. I guess 1-0 to Brighton.
Is it?
Well,
really? What? So you don't know, Shabby? You're just making that up.
Yeah, I'm guessing because I'm guessing.
Jazz Inc., not Jazzwares. That's right. Yeah, there's a different company.
I want to see that last game. I want to go to the parade as well. That'd be awesome. I want to see that.
Yeah.
Keith, what's your number 5, buddy?
Right, number 5 is not Star Wars. It's very sentimental to me, and I've mentioned this, I think, on your show when I was in my mum's attic, Shabby, if you remember
Pub Thumpers with our side,
yeah, that very comical show that I did with my mother.
Your mum was awesome. Stole the show, your mum.
Something like that. So it is Matchbox toys and vehicles.
Wow.
Okay. So this, I spent hours and hours and hours and hours and hours, and one's dropped off actually, so that's good. So I spent hours and hours and hours of my childhood playing with these soldiers, and these are still in the sprues, whatever you want to call them. And I absolutely love these, and one's fallen off. So, you know, you can see that what we're talking about. We're talking about 1/7 scale soldiers, and I'd have these lined up, and I used to collect the tanks.
Yeah.
And what I loved about these, they were on a diorama. So they were already colored. They're already green and brown. And this is on like half a bridge. And I absolutely love these. So I had all the tanks. I've got most of them now. I've got, you know, the German, these are cellophanes that have never been opened. I've got, you know, half tracks. And like I said, they all had dioramas. So it wasn't like Airfix where you just had the vehicle. You had the diorama, you had a couple of German soldiers, you had the ruins in the background. And then you had the bigger sets where you had 2 tanks in one set.
So cool.
Wow.
And then, absolutely. And then you had, you had all the fighters. So you got the Henkel bomber. You know, and so, you know, they were colored. So Henkel bomber, for instance, had 3 colors. So it'd be a little bit of blue and a couple of browns. So for me, it was great because you didn't have to paint them. Sorry, you have to paint them. They were just like that. And I spent hours playing with the soldiers in my house. And then you had, So you had things like the mortar set that you'd have to build. So you'd have a mortar, and then you'd have the crew firing the mortar. And for soldiers, like I said before, when we were in Tub Thumpers, my whole mum's attic had green sort of flooring in the roads that I'd buy, you know.
That's right. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, you remember. And I love this. For sentimental reasons, I love this. Now, the only downside I've said before is my mum and dad had a static caravan at a place called Burton Bradstock on the south coast near Dorchester. And in a caravan, if you walk in a caravan, it vibrates. We used to share the caravan with my nan and granddad and stuff like that. So they would get up and I'd lay all these soldiers out for about an hour and a half to lay them out. And they'd get up and they'd fall over. And I used to go effing bonkers.
I don't remember the ones when I was a kid that were in cardboard box. I just remember you get a plastic bag full of green army men. I used to love that.
You even used to get army men in cereal packets.
Yeah.
Back in the day. You know, and I had, I had all of them. I had Zulu warriors. I had, Rorke's Drift figures. I had Napoleonic figures, all sorts. And sentimentally, these were a massive, massive part of my childhood, and that's why I've got them all now, mint, cellophaned up, never opened, and just don't know. But yeah,
awesome. Did you have them, Nick? Were you a big fan of army?
Yeah, I used to have the green ones, and on Toy Story, even the cast members, you go around dressed up as them. They've got the little bits of excess plastic that's around the feet and stuff like that. I love that. From the cast, whatever. Molding.
Oh, breaking news: Brighton 1, Scumbags 2. There you go. That's all right. 2 sail barges on eBay right now, says Jason, and both are 7,000 and one is £8,000. Wow.
Well, that's absolutely ridiculous, isn't it? That is
nuts.
No, sorry, Gab. I don't know why you were timed out.
We're just going to put it at number 1, really, because my top 5. I don't know, man. As you said, Shabby, early on a different day, you can have a different choice, whatever. But
it's what I mean. I think it's just not. I think one of the nicest things about doing this show, and everyone's done it for the past 5 weeks, it's stories like Keith just said now, and the way you've picked out stuff in your collections and stuff. I love it. I think it's a great.
I'd like to think that it's like top 5 items that are at number 1. You know what I mean? As opposed to having find a top spot. It's very difficult. So yeah. 5 top five figures.
It's like what Des says, Nick. You know, I could have you both on in a month, and your top 5 would be completely different than the ones you've picked now. And I like that. You know, I think. What do you think keeps you both going, especially when it comes to Star Wars and toys? What is it? Just a love you can't do now? Because I know a lot of people have had this thing where they go, "Oh well, I don't think I'll do it much anymore." Or what one day. I've never thought like that. I've always collected and I've always really enjoyed it. So
people who know me, right? Is I do sell stuff, right? I'm not ashamed to say it, and I do, and everything's got a price. You know what I mean? But everything I sell goes back into my collection. So I do rotate a lot, but. So that partly keeps me going because I'll see something. I'm tinkering on hot toys, and I'm thinking, you know, how can I get a little just read it, display all my collection better and stuff like that. So I don't get, you know, what keeps me going is I don't get hung up on what I've got and I can't adapt or change or sell or buy. You know, I'm always doing stuff, you know, and you know, believe it or not, I'd even sell these two if someone said they really want them and they pay me a silly price. I go. Great, and I buy all the TVC 19 I haven't got, or I buy, you know, a load of hot toys, or I buy a load of HasLabs, you know, that I haven't got. Maybe, you know, I buy State Mountain or the Thundercats Lair, or all the other toys that I love, you know. So, you know, the Robo Skull, the new Robo Skull, I love that.
Perfect, isn't it?
You know, and I would love to have a room the size of my room that I just have. The top 20 big, nice toys that you can have displayed really nicely. So that's what keeps me going. The thought of that and doing something different.
So in other words, even if you do what Matt does, 0-100, he sells some of his stuff to get more stuff. It goes straight back.
Yeah, and people say, "Oh, you're selling to make money." Well, yeah, I am, because that grows the collection. I'm not ashamed of that, and I respect everyone's views. If people say, do it or don't do it. I don't mind. It's whatever you want to do, really, isn't it? But
not on eBay anymore, though, Keith. That seems like a bit of a hassle. That whole business. You know what I'm talking about?
That's another episode about eBay and
yeah, God.
Your Mrs. Caravan, Keith, your nan. That's brilliant. It'd be nice if they did realize if so many people overseas could get it and they would sell tons of them. Yeah, it was a missed opportunity, definitely that. And I think with it being the first one and they hit it out the park with that katana, didn't they? They really did. So yeah, I can kind of see the way you think there. But anyway,
that's the thing like as you said, that was the one item that people really wanted back in the day, and then it's just so sad. I don't know how many units they sold. It seemed like 5,000 or 6,000 or something pitiful like that, was it?
A bit more than that, but yeah.
7,000 maybe, 7, 8. Maybe they made 10,000. I don't know, but not enough, man. There was bigger demand than that.
I think if they did do it again, I think they'd have to do it differently.
Yeah,
you'd have to do it like not necessarily as much as a retro collection, but know the difference between the first release of the katana to this one, you know.
Yeah, well, without the yak, for example, at least the yak was exclusive to that set, wasn't it? You know, they could, because like, I mean, even like the Star Speeder, they brought that out again, the newer one, the 1000, which is orange. But that's not going to come with the exclusive DJ Rex. Or he's not even called DJ Rex, is he? Captain Rex figure. That keep that exclusive because they only made 5,000. Was it 3,000 of them? Keith? That's right.
3,000. We don't know how many 1,000s they made at the moment. We don't know how many 1,000s they made. I'm not sure because they
sold out. Yeah,
they sold out. Yeah.
How many did you get, Keith? Just the one or two? Or no? I don't know.
I can't remember how many I had.
You don't want to say on that live on there. Emma's watching, mate. Emma's watching.
Paid for it. When was it? 4 weeks ago, and there's nothing yet, so I don't think they're going to be for quite a while.
So Jason does the same thing you do, Keith. When I see it, I sell it as toys are going to a new collection and money's going to my collection, like Keith. There you are. So yeah, the barge would have to have tiers. It depends on the price, doesn't it, George? Yeah. Let's have a look. Is only One Kenobi in Force Ghost mode. He's showing his room. That's why he's behind camera.
Yeah, I'm just getting ready for the next one. I'm going to be moving. I've got it on a gimbal now, the camera, so I can, move with a bit more grace.
It was 2. Emma's exaggerating as usual. She doesn't normally exaggerate, by the way.
Brilliant.
I've got to say, we touched on retro collection just now, Shabby. Quick one.
Yes, sir.
And obviously, the figures that come out are, people will love them or hate them, but why haven't they done any vehicles yet? bring out some of the vehicles in a retro collection.
Oh.
Or a TIE Fighter out.
Yeah, because DC Superpowers have done it. I've been buying that line too. And they've done loads of new. But what they've done, they've specifically made either newish vehicles or the old ones, made them different. So
I was amazed when I did a video. I did a video of the retro collection a while back, and I thought it was going to bomb, and it was probably one of my most watched videos. It says it must be a hell of a people out there.
I like them. I like the retro collection.
Yeah,
I'll give you the reason why. My favorite figure and my favorite thing of all time for me is my Return of the Jedi 83 Luke Skywalker. I love that figure. I've even got my card back and I framed it because it's got the pill cut out and it's battered, and where I've crossed out all the figures I need and I want at the back of it. I've always had that thing for it. And so I remember going to Joe Fest a couple of years back, and I said to Scuba and GeForce, if I find a Return of the Jedi Luke, I think I'm just going to drop the money on it. You have a bit of cash when you go to these conventions. And I thought, what? The cheapest one I saw there was $350, and you couldn't even see the figure. It was so yellow, the bubble. And so what this does for me is it gives me an opportunity to get that, just a nostalgia pull for me. It's not the same. It's not, but to see it again on a card, and knowing it's under $10 to get it, to me, I was like, "This."
Was that the Jedi Knight version? Do you mean, or was it,
yes, the Jedi Knight version? Yeah, they did the same figure in the Book of Boba Fett, but it was the return. It's just that it's my favorite card back when Luke's in Jabba's palace with the blaster. Yeah. It just the blue that comes from the light on it, and it's and so it was nice for me to get. And I did get the TVC ones. I remember the TVC one which I've still got closed, where it was the deleted scene where he's fixing up the lightsaber in the cave, and the TVC brought out that figure, and I loved that, and I thought that was brilliant. But yeah, there's just something about that. So, like I said, I've always had a and an R in because I collect so many things. I'm like, yeah, well, 350 quid for that, or I could buy 20 of this and 10 of that. In fact, do you see what I mean? I'm that sort of person. But yeah, I mean, I'd like them to do that. I've always liked retro collection. I have no issue with it at all. But anyway, we're up to an hour in. Let's get to number 4. Right, Keith, so this time I'll start with you, my friend. What's your number 4 in your collection, buddy?
So it's a little gathering of stuff, but it's very sentimental. And I'll start by showing you, whether you can see it or not, I'll show you a little picture, 2 pictures. And my brother's going to kill me, but he's not watching, so that's cool. So I don't know whether you should make me laugh. I don't know if you can see this.
Let's have a make it even bigger. Yep.
Yeah. So this is me on Christmas Day here.
Look at that TV, Keith. Look at that TV. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Don't look at my pants. But anyway, so over here. Oh, let's go on here. Yes, here. Sorry, we're a bit delayed. Here, can you see the R2D2?
Yes, I can. Yeah.
Yes. So that's that there, and I'll do the big. And then this is another picture shot at the same time, and you can see the R2D2 in the corner again.
Yeah.
Over here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can see the I'm a bit delayed, but I'll show you. Hold on. Oh, sorry. Is that picture? Yeah. Sorry, I'm just trying to get I've got my thumb on, that's why. Sorry, hold on. Bear with me. I'm delayed. I'm getting delayed.
Yeah.
There you go.
Strobe.
Right.
You're getting strobe.
Yeah. So over here, can you see this? Can you see the open packaging?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is the R2D2 from that picture.
Wow. I wish I had photographs like that. I don't have anything of my Star Wars opening.
That is it. That is the only thing I've got from any of my Christmas photos. But I bought a few years ago a reproduction, sadly, of the same card back. And that it was a 47 back, which for me means a lot because my mum and my dad would have got this from Tesco's, and I said before, and I thought it was all Tri-Logo stuff in Tesco's, but they must have had Empire Strikes Back stuff there. So yeah, that's an original figure, but it's a reproduction card. I one day I'll get round to getting an exact reproduction because it's got the full loom offer on the sticker on the front, the one that's ripped on that picture you just seen. Yeah. So I really want that. And very quickly, another just reminisce again is I've got this still, and this is original die cast with no guns, battered to F.
Nice.
But that was, and I used to, that AT-AT you saw in the photograph. That was my absolute prized possession. Running around the village, walking like a dog around the village to see my mates around the corner, all stuff different. And I said on an episode the other day, I was always confused because this didn't quite scale to an AT-AT. Yeah. Because this is a die cast, and it did my nutting. But anyway, so as I do, I've got a really absolute minty one there, and you can see what they should look like. And you can see, that one's all moldy and whatever, but it would look like. And so that's a little sort of gathering of some of the stuff that means a lot to me. And I'll return to my childhood later on, but that's these mean a lot to me because they are the only little bits I've got from my childhood left.
You said sadly when it came to that car back. Do you mean that? Or does it not bother you?
No, I don't suppose I did because at the time I must have been. I mean, that was opened. I've still got pajamas on. That must have just ripped open in a flash.
Yeah.
But I want to get one. I will get an original Forloon 47 back at some time to match. But I would imagine I'm talking, I don't know, £1,000 to £2,000 probably for a decent graded one. I would imagine at least. I don't know. I'm not an expert on original stuff, but I would imagine it would cost me sort of that to get a original Forloon 47 back R2D2. And anyone in the chat thinks they know what they're worth or how much it would cost, but you don't see much anymore. So yeah.
ST loves the 1970s deco on that picture. Gary Moss says, your lack of pants, Keith, is disturbing.
Yeah, my brown white fronts are quite famous now, actually. Yeah.
Si says it's weird when I see generations or our generation as kids, we all lived in the same house in the same pajamas.
With the same carpet in it. Yeah, exactly. I had an AT-AT, man, for Christmas. 100% got an AT-AT on Christmas Day one year, and I wished I had. Or there were photographs. I've asked my mother and my dad. He wouldn't really know, but there isn't anything, man. It's such a sad thing, man. It's all in my memory or whatever. I can remember getting it and everything, but I'd love to have pictures like that. Be awesome.
And I will just add, Shabby, I've got. So what I do, and if you look at that photograph again, mate. Sorry.
Yes, sir. No problem.
You see what I do. You see the Aurora Police Scale Electric set on the floor.
Yeah.
I got one again for Christmas as well.
I've got that. What I do, so I scour. I've got about 4. I've got another picture with a slave on a snow speeder in it, and I just look and scour anything I had, and I get it. So I've got that Aurora Police set with the bridge, like the San Francisco Bridge. I've got that set as well.
Oh wow!
That's how I always remember Christmas, like that in your job. Toys everywhere, tinsel everywhere. I just love pictures like that.
Do you know what I'd love to sniff, Shabby? I'd love to sniff the underside of one of the Scale Electric's cars, man. That would just take me back to Christmas as well, man. You got that electric smell.
I do. I can't believe you said that. Yeah.
The heat of it, man. It's God. Wow, that'll take me back.
Red Fire Design says later Palatoy figures used kind of card backs amongst others. He'd know. Do you know what I mean? I think he's got a good point there. So maybe because I didn't know that what you just said about the tri logo only being in a certain place. I didn't know that at all. So you said I think what you're saying, Tesco's supermarket like Harrods.
So for me, the only place I could get it was Tesco's or K's catalogue. I guess that my mum would get them from, but. For Tesco's, it was from memory. It was all tri logo stuff, and but there must have been some Empire Strikes Back there stuff as well.
Absolutely brilliant, man. We're up to 55 people, so thank you all so much, man. Nice. Awesome of you all. All right, Nick, what's your number 4, buddy?
Yeah, well, I've changed my order again because we were talking about this just before. We were talking about the Star Speeder, and I'm going to bring that into this because
that's awesome. That is awesome. Yeah.
But it's quite interesting, Shabby, when you read the comments when I did all those videos, there were a lot of people who were like, I just don't get it. What's so good about that, But to some people, if they haven't been to the park or whatever and, experienced the nostalgia of that, they won't get it. It'll just look like a camper van or something,
What it was for me, I watched your video, Martin's video, and Matt's Collections video on it. And it's all the stuff that came, all the lights have the doors open, the little video sequence in it. And I'm like, if you can do that on that, why can't you do it on the HasLabs? Do you know what I mean? Well, I know it's meant to be a different company that makes them, blah, blah, blah. But it just blew me away, the amount of detail they put in that thing. It was unbelievable.
I'm really sorry. I don't have it hooked up to any power, but that doesn't matter. I haven't actually opened this in months, man. So this is what I have inside it, but big capacity. And it just meant a lot. And it was not only just the fact that I love the vehicle, love what it means. And it's the original Star Speeder from the original 87, was it, Keith? The Disneyland one was 87. And then it came out in Hollywood Studios in 89. But it's like, the circumstances of getting it were a bit like the barge, you know. It was so difficult I was in the UK, we couldn't get hold of it very easily, and you had the crack, didn't you, Shabby? Did I ask you? I can't remember if I asked you or not.
Yeah, you were saying about it, but was it a Disney store or only a Disney Parks exclusive?
You couldn't buy it.
You could buy it in store, or you could get on Disney Shop America, and I got mine through my US postal box. That's the only way, and I was lucky, so...
So I mean, Lara V. I mean, one of my mates had a crack and he couldn't do it. Luke B had a go and he couldn't do it. But Lara tried and also was unsuccessful. But she kept at it. She tried again, and then she sent me this voice message. I mean, I thought I'd missed out and it sold out. But then she sent a message to say, "I got one for you," you know. And I was just over the moon, man. I was like, "Wow!"
I mean, they went from what was the retail of that? About 300. They were selling for. I've seen them selling for 1,400, 1,500 quid, and when they were coming out, now they've settled back down to about sort of 500 quid. So
I've not been watching the market actually, Keith, on them. Sorry to just cut in on you there. Sorry.
I just love the way it looks. I love the way the doors open, and I love the way you can fit so many. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the old school Rebel Transport, because even though there's not much to that you could fit so much into it, and it's. You know, I think that was one of the most played toys with when we were kids, me inside.
Get the doors open. I mean, the design is that of circumstance, because originally when they wanted to get Star Wars attraction in Tomorrowland, they were going to do a roller coaster like Space Mountain or something. But, you know, they stumbled across this new concept of having like a simulator, you know, for like flight training or whatever. And then they thought, well, there you go. That's perfect. Get a big audience in there, get a couple of simulators to get the capacity going, and then all they needed to do was make the film, which by all accounts was really difficult for them to do back then, to make a seamless film that had no cuts in it. Was harder than the movies, they said.
Martin says here, pure Disney MGM's 90s nostalgia, because this is the ride, right? This is what this thing actually is. Again, not being from Disney. So, and they changed the ride quite a bit, do they? So is that like the 90s version of this then? Is that what it is?
Late 80s to 90s. Yeah, I don't know when they actually, I think it was 2012, did they change it to the, you know, now you can wear 3D glasses and you've got like multiple story, what's the word now? Sequences, like each time you go on it, it's different now. You go, and it's like weird time jumps. You'll be in Naboo, or you'll be like, you know, in the pod race or something like that, you know. You'll go up to the original trilogy, to the sequel trilogy, all sorts of crazy stuff goes on. Sorry, what am I trying to do it?
The worst part of Star Tours was I never got picked as the rebel spy, and then he says, "What? Kirk and Spock riding Star Tours?"
I know, that's the thing. I don't know anything about Star Trek, but I saw those figures, 3 3/4 inch scale, and I just thought, what a great Easter egg! Get them in there, man. I need passengers, but also it came with that as well, which is quite nice. That this. What number is mine? Yeah, 1502 of 3000. So that's quite nice.
And it was under a HasLab. That amazes me, to tell you the truth.
The details, Shabby, as well. I mean, just little things like, as I say, even without lights and sound, things like that. The wiring, the loose cable in there. It really has. They've gone to town on that, man.
Yeah, they really have.
Really have.
Do you think they did it because it's not Hasbro, so they had to do it a little bit more?
I'm convinced it is. I don't know why. I always think a lot of the stuff that they've got like a team that's sort of like they have a close knit team that might be linked somehow to Hasbro. I don't know, man. It just feels like it.
It's because we were talking about the Sandcrawler, us three, before, and I'm sure Disney, the people that made these toys, made a Sandcrawler that you can only buy at the Disney parks as well, isn't there?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. The Droids one is really hard to get.
I should have bought. Keith, I should have bought that when I was there in 2019. That was sat there, and my mate Mike said, "Nick, why didn't you buy it?" And I was like, "Well, I don't know. It just didn't. It wasn't what I wanted. I wanted it bigger."
Yeah, it's got like a leopard skin print on it. It's really hard to get, and it's one I need. It's really nice.
It's probably about as big as this. Am I right, Keith? Maybe smaller.
Maybe a little bit smaller. It's the same size as the trilogy edition.
Yeah.
roughly. So it's bigger than the original vintage one, but it's a real hard one to get, the droids one.
Do you know what, Keith? That's one of the reasons why I didn't buy it, because by then, when I was there in 2019, when I saw one in Epcot, we'd already had the barge, so I'd already had it in my head that we'd get a barge. Sorry, a sandcrawler that would be like a double-decker barge. I still think they could do it, man. Like, just, I don't know, man. It's a little bit taller, same sort of length.
Even the way they put the astromech droid in it, I mean, I just think it's what a great toy that is. It really. I mean,
I've got loads of big vehicles, as you can see, loads of them, but that one is just right at the top, just because it's big, that Star Speeder, but all these are awesome and everything, but it's just got a story behind it, that the circumstances of winning it with via Lara, and I went on such an emotional roller coaster. I was so devastated. I was like gutted I didn't get one, and then the phone call that I got from her saying you've got it, and I was like, what?
Martin's put a comment, but his didn't have a number, so he had his numbers blank out 3,000. So I told Martin to put 01 on it pretty quick.
Get it graded, Martin. Yeah.
Nick, I was in the park the same year and saw it there. I should have bought it. Yeah, I've got to admit, if that was a retail thing, I'd have bought that. I think it's a lovely ship.
So they've obviously done the 1,000 now. So
he might be talking about Standcrawler there, isn't it? Sorry, Keith. I think you might be talking about Standcrawler.
Go on.
Let's have a look. Martin White 001 on it. I've got a question for you. Kieran Ball says, question for Keith. Did you ever own the Mastermind game with the Chinese lady on the box, and do you still have it?
I
remember that game.
I did have it, but I didn't know how to play it. It was like little pegs, wasn't it?
Yeah, and the guy was behind a desk and she was leaning on the desk.
Yeah, but it was a really weird game. I had it, but I didn't have a Scooby how to play it. So yeah, and in fact, what I probably did, I took the pegs out and used them as soldiers and just lined them up as if they were battling. And I used to battle my nan's hair pegs against the other pegs in a battle.
My nan's hair pegs, brilliant. Let's have a look. So I'm just going to get that up there for the next thing. Let's get back on here. Unnumbered, yeah. I had no number at 3. So I wonder why that was.
Yeah, get that graded, Martin. Definitely get that graded. And
yeah, Jason was talking about the Sandcrawler. Yeah,
I thought so.
Yeah,
it just looked too small, Jason. My mate made me regret. Like I maybe should have got it, but I don't know, man. It just looked like a mouse droid, not a bloody Sandcrawler.
Yeah,
too small.
So on the latest Star Speed of 1,000, the mystery is how many did he do? We don't know.
Yeah.
And the second one is there is a C-3PO in it. Is it carded? I don't think it is because they haven't said it is. And also for those of you who don't know, there was a 1,000 brought out about 8 or 9 years ago as a playset, and that is really hard to get hold of.
Yeah, I've got that here. Can I just show it quickly?
Yeah, you've got it loose, haven't you, mate? Yeah, you got it loose.
Now I've got this. I know this will be pissed on now by this. I mean, what we're going to get soon is that, but in orange. But this one here, I was buzzing about getting this as well, to be honest. Yeah, but that now will look. Excuse my French, but that's shite in comparison to.
So it's not. Is it not the same model then, Nick? It's not the same mold.
There's a big size difference. It is but this is obviously a different mold. Whatever. This is the newer one. Right. It's the same vehicle essentially, but one's orange and one is the original. The original colours are best anyway. I love that. The blue and the white's more Star Wars in a way. I don't know why. It's sort of.
But everyone will want all 3. You see, that's what happens. People want all 3 now. So
I love that emblem. It's brilliant. That it's just like it's kind of Earth, but still Star Wars in a way. It's kind of like that corporate thing from Earth, but still the rugged kind of. I don't know.
They put this ship into the latest TV shows, haven't they?
Kind of like a shuttle. Looks like the monorail as well. Like kind of like a.
Has it turned up in any of the TV shows? Has it turned? I think it has, hasn't it? It has turned up in a. I think
Rebels, maybe.
Rebels.
Maybe, yeah, maybe. I don't quote me on that. Someone might know.
No, I think Rebels. You're hitting the bell there with Rebels. Well, there you have it. Let's get to number 3. Right. So, Nick, I've got you big right there. So, show us your number 3, Nick.
Okay, bear with me. I might have to go for a little walk here. I'm not ready. I see what you're doing. You did Keith double, and then it's going to be double me now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Bear with me, my friend. Hang on. what we're doing here. Jesus Christ. Excuse my language. Come on, sorry.
Hey, it's not worse than what I did on yours that time. So.
Oh, I know. Oh, that was funny. I need to watch that back, man, to see how long it went on for. That's crazy.
Do you know that story, Keith? So Only
No.
One did a live stream, and I was doing something, and he sent me a link for it later on, and I honestly thought the link was just behind the scenes. It wasn't a live thing. So I'm going on my phone, and I'm effing, and I'm blinded, and I'm saying, "Oh, Daniel Chart goes, why don't you turn the camera the other way, Shabs?" And I thought that's a bit weird, right? So I turned it the other way, and then I realised as soon as I did it, it said live in the top corner. I'd been on for about 20 minutes, effing hell, and all that sort of stuff.
That's really funny. Really funny. And I mean, the thing is that worried me is I chipped off to my garage to get a beer. So all that was going on when I had no control of it, man. It's crazy.
Go back to Shabby.
Anyway,
love this room. This room's amazing.
It's amazing.
Well, thank you. Here's the thing, right? I had to decide what I would choose out of it. And I've only got one carded item or carded items that I'm going to choose out of all this because there's so many amazing things in here. Like recently I acquired the Canadian Yoda, and also I never really wanted them, but I finally got hold of them, just a circumstance, because I wanted to get hold of the SDCC set to get the variants out of there. But what I'm going to put in as my next is my favorite. My favorite carded run in here has to be the Leia run here, just because of the fact that together collectively they are just so rare and they're in such good condition as well. But each one of these, all 5 of them, are pristine. So I really would love to get them all graded in one block. You know what I mean? Because I think that's all you can get. That's a full house. So if I go through them, you've got the Return of the Jedi. I suppose you call it the US or standard card. Then you've got the Return Canadian, which I think that's super, super, super rare. That you don't ever see them coming up at all, ever really. Then you've got the Revenge with the blue sticker. Then you've got the Revenge Canadian. And then this one here, this Revenge Oculus also is from the SDCC. Hang on, there it is, the SDCC set. It's very messy in here, so I'm just going to whip the camera. So as a run of 5, that's my top out of all the stuff in the room, I have to say.
See, it's funny because I bought that figure. I remember finding it and then I opened it and so forth. But I would never have. How do you get to this point where you're like, oh, I've got to get the Canadian? Is there a certain one that you're missing from that Princess Leia line?
No, that's it. You see, you can't get any others unless somebody has any other information other than that. I think that's it. Whereas there's other variants I need to get for the Luke there. See, there's so many already I have, but there's others out there. Loads more I can get for that Boba Fett there variant. I'm missing something. Look how many Lukes I've got here. There's other Lukes I need to get. There's the the silver Canadian, which if I go down to the Han here, there's a Han silver. There's a Luke like that. You see, I've got the Luke Canadian like that, regular card back, and I've got the silver. But there's one that's like a mixture of the two. So there's more to go everywhere. But that's a full house. And she's super rare and loved by everyone anyway. And she's just another one that's just going to go right up in value because I can't see them doing that again, really.
No, definitely not.
You know what I mean? I don't think they'd even reissue it. I don't know if the controversy or whatever around the, certain controversies about the use of the word slave.
Stupid. It's so stupid.
I don't know, man. Maybe that's just something that's been dreamt up. But I wouldn't be surprised in this day and age,
Keith, do you collect this way as well? So you'll find a TVC card or a certain card. Do you always look for the variants of that card?
No,
as well?
I'm not quite there. Because I collect all modern figures from 95. I couldn't possibly get into that detail. I mean, maybe over time I eventually will, but not at the moment. I'm not like Nick, and I love what he's done, but I'm not there in that detail. In fact, I haven't even got all the TVC one line as any figures, so I'm way off where Nick is with this. It's staggering, really.
What was your hardest one to get hold of, Nick? What was the one that was stressful?
Yeah, I was just about to say this one here in the middle. I think I did see somebody recently had this on eBay, and it was punched though. But this one, I got this, and I put a massive top bid on it, but nobody, thankfully, else was watching it. So I think I put £300 on it, but I got it for like 150 or something. So I got it for a lot less. I got it for just over 100. But I don't know. Somebody tells me that this is one of the rarest of the TVC. Well, they're certainly of her, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I would go insane that it says Matt's collection. Yeah, it must be difficult to do. But I suppose if that's the way you collect, I suppose is it the hunt of actually the thrill of finding it then, Nick? It's like I finally got it.
So you've got like Return and Revenge like that, and then I mean they're not together, but then you've got the two. Oh yeah. Yes. You got the two there like that.
Yeah.
They go together, and then this one I just put it over here just so I could see it because it's the most recent one I got, the one for the SDCC. What was your question? I'm sorry, Shabby. It was just me prattling on. What were you saying?
No, I was just saying it must have been difficult to get hold of it, and it's like Matt's collection was saying it's like he'd go insane trying to find it and so forth. And I mean, $150 for I mean, how old's that? About 6-7 years old, that figure, if that 10 years old.
Yeah, at least 2011, wasn't it? I think so.
Wow, yeah.
But I bought that in 2020 in the lockdown, you see, when figures cards had gone up a lot anyway, so and people were after lay around then, so I was really pleased to get that one.
It is impressive. I've had this conversation before, and I won't go on about it. But I really enjoyed the tub thing you did, where you put them around that tub. I thought that looked so good. I mean, you took it out, didn't you? Those tub things.
Yeah. What you mean? The other stuff that wasn't Star Wars?
No. You had these two barrels, and that's right, Keith. And you put them around the barrels. I thought that looked fantastic.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah. But the problem with them was it was just this is such a small room. You couldn't see. You couldn't move in here. It was terrible. You just couldn't move. And also it blocked out that beautiful view there. You couldn't see these cards here, but they're outside now. But it was a bit of an experiment. But, going back to what you said before about, tearing your hair out, I try, if I find something, I'll get it. And I haven't looked for stuff for TVC for a while, and I haven't pulled the trigger on anything, but it's over time, really. I mean, that one, it was just sat there on the Fourth Moon Toys, which is a website I've discovered. And I thought, well, I need it and I'll get it, why not, But I haven't gone looking for a variant of 3PO ever, really. That one was all I really wanted, you know what I mean? But that was there. So if I see it and it's a decent price, I'll get it. But I'm not like desperately trying to search for gaps constantly. Nah. It just builds up over time,
So with you both being in box collectors, the pristine of these card backs or the pristine of boxes, that's what you're both looking for, basically, when it comes to this, right? Has to have it.
Although I'm a bit different. If I get a card that's absolutely mint, it's off the graded. That's probably
that's all over the wall there.
Yeah,
mine's going to be. I'm going to get it graded, and I've got nowhere near this volume. And
I mean, this has been an interesting run, Keith, that I'm getting my teeth into now. It's just transpiring that there were loads of. I mean, it's all by accident, Shabby. Just like as I say, I do look on eBay. I'll type in Star Wars VC. That's always a good thing to type in.
Right.
And I just noticed I've just got another 3 new ones of this guy that I didn't even really know that were there. It's a Takara Tommy one. It's one like that one with the European black stickers on. And also, what was the other one I got? Oh, Jesus, what was the other one? Christ, another variant. Oh, no, the Canadian one. So it's like that one, but it's got the Canadian sticker on it. You know what I mean? So it's just like, wow.
Yeah. It's amazing. So many there. I agree with Keith. It's just an amazing room. It's one of those in it. You go, whoa, look at that. The way it's all stout and all, looks perfect. It really does.
It's quite funny, Shabby. I do get a few comments from people, like they'll say, I don't know if they're just casual passers-by, and they'll watch a video and they'll say, why have you got 7 different Boba Fett's? That's just greedy. They don't realize that they're different. You know what I mean? They think I've got the same one and I'm just like showcasing that I've got 10 of them or something. It's not that at all.
No,
I
like it because it's your way of collecting. It's like I said, I think one of the reasons we all do YouTube and we all started a group up with us all in is we're fascinated by how we collect and what we collect. And
this is the Jackson Jam way, isn't it? He inspired me. With vintage 80s, you can do this with vintage 80s, and as you can see, you can do it with the modern stuff. Not so much the new TVC 2.0, but this TVC 1.0 between 2010 and 2012. You can do it just like it was in the 80s with multiple different stickers and Canadian variants, blah, blah, blah. They've stopped that now, haven't they? They've whittled it down to just one type of card back, which is quite nice, actually. It means you don't have to chase absolutely everything. But this is what I love about 1.0, the 2010 to 2012 stuff. It's just the Wild West, man. There's so much to find. And BOE will tell you that as well. It's right up there with the 80s stuff, variants.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. 2 Revenge of the Jedi Slave Layer card backs for 300 each, says Jason. Wow, man, that's crazy. I love the look of a carded collection on the walls, but it takes up so much space. Luckily, Nick has the 2 rooms. Yeah, and it's nice that you separated them both, especially when you watch your videos. You know, you've got your open room, you've got your closed room. So best of both worlds, really, isn't it?
Speaking of which, there are times though that I'll like the loot collector in me will take over, and I'll want this room to put some more shelves. You know what I mean, for figures and stuff, because that other room is busting and this is busting. So it depends on what mood I'm in, really. But
so how do you sort what you're going to store in boxes and what you're going to put on the wall? Do you change it every couple
everything's out, but that's what I need to start doing because everything's getting full. I need to retire a lot of stuff in the loose room to make some more space on the shelves and stuff like that. Stuff that I don't really need to display anymore, and store it away nicely and bring it back whenever I need to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To give myself a bit of a breather. But yeah, I do like coming in here. There's times I think, oh, just get rid of it. But you walk in here again, you think, bloody hell, it is nice in here. I love it. You know, don't come in here often, but yeah, it's great.
I think it's perfect, mate. Absolutely perfect.
Mate. Oh, thank you very much. Yeah,
I love it. I love looking at it. I really do. Right, Keith, let's have a look at your number 3.
Right, I'm going to do a reveal. All right, so I've got a couple of things hidden.
Right.
I want to thank the wife for the Bambi cover straight away. So shout out to Emma.
No one noticed.
I even wrote down what number it is, number 3.
Yeah.
So are you ready?
Oh wow.
Absolutely well. And I do have some photos of this as well, so you don't have to pick that up or whatever, because I know it's like that boxed. And this is
pretty big.
This is what I wanted to talk about, was the what is it, the grading and stuff, because if I get the pictures on here,
I would say there's 2 I've got, 3 and 2. I would say I don't know if another one exists on both of these, so both of these I think are unique.
Wow.
So I mean, look at the figures that come with this though. You got your Grievous, Kenobi, Battle Droids, Clone Troopers. What year are we looking at for this, Keith?
Oh God, now you put me on spot. Obviously, 2012. I don't know. It's so most of you would know that the ATTE in the Clone Wars Blue Line was done in the normal packaging. Yeah. This was a Costco exclusive in the States. I don't think it came out in the UK. There was one that had the French writing, which is this one, and then you had one with the US writing, and then people in the US might know a bit more about it than I can. But my wife bought me this, and straight away I'm like, that is going to get bashed. That is very, very hard to get, and it needs to be graded. So, yeah. And I've never seen it.
Was posted from the States, or she bought it in the States and brought it back with her? Because it's pristine, isn't it?
I can't remember, actually. I can't. Emma's next door. She'd probably be able to tell me. Put in chat. I don't know how she got it, to be honest. I don't know. But I've probably seen in my life, less than 4. She bought it from the States. She just shouted to me. So I've seen probably less than 5 ever listed on eBay in 15 years. So yeah, it's pretty nice. And it's huge. I think it's graded. I think it's 80. I've got a picture of label. I think it's 85 or 80. But you know, it's got to be, because that 80, which some people say 80, not great, but you try getting something that big and with that much plastic on it.
Exactly.
Graded any higher than that, and you're going to struggle. So yeah, it's one of the more madder things I've got graded, but I don't regret it at all. It's a massive, massive piece, and displays absolutely fantastic.
So let me ask you about grading. Is grading important to you and your collection, Keith?
Yeah, if I want to maintain the standard it's in, it is very important to me. I've got a thing about shiny plastic as well. I think things just look nicer when they're glistening. You know, the reflection is hard for you to photograph, but for anything like that, I just love, how it looks. And even my room is about 50 square meters. It doesn't do these things justice, because even that would have a load of stuff on top of it, and you'd only see the front. And that deserves a pedestal with proper lighting. so everyone could see it. But yeah, it's a really nice piece, and
I bet it looks massive in that display case as well. I bet it looks really big.
It's huge, isn't it?
Yeah, it's nice. And like I said, I haven't seen more than sort of 5 of them in the last 15 years for sale. You just don't see them. So yeah, it's a really nice piece.
Amazing. So apart from the packaging, is there anything else that was different from the States one to the one they got in Europe?
Well, what I'm saying is they did this version, this playset version was done 2 versions. There was a one with a foreign with French writing on it, and there was one for the States. So I think they were the same about the writing, but obviously it's a massive difference than the normal box one where you've got none of the figures. You just got a picture of the ATT on the front. Right. Yeah. From that perspective, it's completely different. And I mean, look at the size of it. It's a big piece.
It's beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. Yeah. I need to retire a lot of things, period. My rooms are popping at the seams, says G4. Sherry's quite right there. Let's have a look. We saw that one. At this moment, Emma Guppy realised her Bambi quilt was missing. You got this. I still can't believe Hasbro never released so they've never released it. They've never done another one.
Well, they have. Yeah, they've done 2, but Mary means a new version, maybe. Yeah.
That's probably the best one of that version of that one. The
vehicle is the same, but the way it's laid out and displayed is amazing.
Yeah, they could have done a TVC of that, couldn't they, Keith, as well? Yeah. They did TVCs of like the Republic gunship, but never of that, and other things as well. It's just a shame.
I agree, Gap. These 2 lads have got some awesome stuff, haven't they? I thought the Bambi blanket was Keith's number 3. So Emma says, yeah, first one in the UK. Wow, well done. I've got a story to tell you. So my wife's not a big toy collector at all.
Ah, that's interesting. So Toys R Us. So that, I guess that was in the States, but because I never saw it in the UK. But that's an interesting tell. Yeah.
Grading is Keith's middle name, Shabby. Right, got it. Reflections are great. Just ask my mirror, says Palps. I got 5 of them all loose, says George. Wow, 5 of them. I saw one in Walmart right next to the BMF Falcon I purchased that day. Right, Gilster. Yeah, I remember the one I do remember seeing was the big shoot. I'm sorry, lads, I don't know what it was called, but it was the big brown ship that was a transport for the battle.
Oh, I know. Yeah, Shabby, I'll show you this one here, the MTT.
Right, and it was on sale, brand new in a box, on sale in Walmart on clearance for $50. I should have bought
That's the cheapest chips there. That would be 300 plus pounds. You had an One Kenobi and about 20 droids with that, and it was powered, so it would open up. Great piece. Yeah, I've got one in a box. Really nice.
You might not know this, Shabby. In mine, I've got loads of the TVC battle droids, so they fold up, because the ones that came with it were just sort of quite clunky and no articulation. So in there, they're kind of. I don't want to press the button in case it doesn't come out properly, because I can't reach the top either. But yeah, so they're all in there like proper TVC. The way they fold up when they're squatted down, they're all in there. That's great.
Well, does this not piss you lads off then? Because when you're showing that ATTE then and then obviously that they're just not doing toys like this anymore retail-wise.
Top man, Keith. God bless you forever for that, my friend. What a legend.
What is that?
That is a Keith Guppy exclusive.
A Gups exclusive.
Yeah. God bless him. Thanks so much, man. It was a delight getting that at the end of that year. Whatever he was, that 23 probably. That's right, yeah.
So does it annoy you both then when you see ships from 10, 15 years ago to what you do now retail wise? Are you like, why don't you go back to the, you know what I mean, to making these ships?
If you talked about the U-Wing before, and given that these were all like retail, that could be. I mean, HasLab, everyone says, oh, how about that for a HasLab? And yeah, for really big stuff, yes. But I don't know, is it that big? Well, maybe it is, but I don't know, man. I think they could probably. Times have changed. These were massive, these things here, but these weren't HasLabs, were they? You know what I mean?
That's what I mean. Yeah,
ridiculous. Yeah, everything has to be HasLab now, unless it's a tiny little vehicle like this piece of crap. So well, it's not crap. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be so rude. It's a great ship, isn't it? But it was a little bit under.
Yeah, but is it under the?
It wasn't weathered enough, so I wasn't happy with that, man. So they need to put more weathering on it,
That's what I'm saying. That's $130, and for £100 15 years ago, you're getting that ATTE thing. You know what I mean? I understand inflation and so forth, but that's the thing.
I love that. And so forth. What the France? That's what you need. You need t-shirts. You need to have hashtag and so forth and what the France on the front. I love that.
Have you guys specially dusted your rooms before the show, said Palps?
Negative.
Well,
Negative.
I'm not in my room, but I'm lucky enough because my room upstairs is pretty sealed. It doesn't need dusting. It's when you've got access to the outside air, you've got problems. So I'm pretty lucky like that.
Never got round to buy one, so I'll build my own. Yeah, I bet you did, Hoppy. I bet you did. Awesome, man. Retail stores no longer willing to shelf these large items, which is crazy when you go to Walmart. You see, yeah, that's the one I've got. I've got that side. Brilliant.
Well, it's all about demand as well. If you think about the kids that would have grown up with the prequels, they were babies and they would have wanted the toys in the store and stuff. And the times they haven't changed, sadly, haven't they? They haven't made any like movies that have got off the ground with anybody, have they? Really?
You know,
especially the latest
right, really.
trilogy, whatever, didn't really do it.
Yeah, I suppose you're right in a way. Yeah. Right. Only one. What's your number? Oh, no, you showed your number 3, didn't you? Only one.
Yeah.
Right. So we're up to
number 2.
Number 2.
That's so funny, that. That's spot on. He is a snooker player, isn't he, man? He absolutely.
So we're going to start off with Keith this time for number 2, and I've got a video for Keith's number 2 and some pictures to show. But
I'll just do the reveal as well, Shabby, if I can.
You do the reveal first, my friend.
I feel like Paul Daniels a little bit, but I don't know why.
Say yes, Keith.
Yes, Nick.
Look at that. And that's all in a box and all displayed.
It's graded. Yeah, it's graded. Get me out of the way. I'll get out of the way. That's graded.
You should go Vader side. Go Vader side. So we can still see you.
Yeah, I should actually. Yeah, good idea.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm being like your director here.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I need it.
Well, this is the video of it right here. Just now, the first time I ever saw one of these was Boss Bounty's video years back. And I remember Boss getting it and so forth. And I thought, what the France is this thing? Do you know what I mean? And it's ridiculous. And then obviously it's come up later again with Martin's just purchased one, didn't he? Martin got one too. Yeah. But tell me what it is about this thing. Is it like figures that were never released, or is it?
Well, it's Jedi, so they're unique because they haven't got the little pamphlets in the bottom. And Nick will know a lot more than I will about the exclusivity of this. But you know, it was a JediCon exclusive. You know, and again, I don't think Comic-Con exclusive. I don't think there is another graded one out there because no one else is stupid enough to get one graded. But you know, and if you look on the other side, it display. I've sent you some photographs as well, Shabby.
Yeah, I'm going to look at that in a sec. Yeah,
see the Death Star, the picture of Death Star, and it's an amazing set. And Martin had a great pickup the other day, and he picked one up. And but now, you know, if you want to get one of these, I mean, Emma got one for retail, probably about 350 quid. If you want to buy one now, you're paying $2,000 in the UK, like Nick said, a bit cheaper in the States, but. You know, I saw it. I thought I'm gonna get that graded, and and it's one of my. It's probably one of my best pieces that I've got, and the case is massive. That's a 2-person lift to lift that.
And I know Nick, you've got this too. I know you've got it as well.
Yeah, and without wanting to blow me trumpet, and this is not why I bought it, but I think am I the first or the only person to open it on video on YouTube? So that video went a bit bonkers. I mean, that's not why I bought it. I bought it because I didn't even buy it for the Salacious Crumb and the Mouse Droid. A lot of people do buy it for that, but I bought it. You've just been in my carded room, but the variants are in there. The alternatives of all those characters, they're now on the wall, man. That's why I opened it. But I thought as a bonus, I'll be able to make a video out of that and put it out there so people can see what it's like to open it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So there's the 85. You got an 85 on it. It's crazy. It's massive.
And for those of you who are into grade, if you can get one of these, I mean, I've done the same, and I'm not going to be ashamed to say it. If you bought one of these if you get one of these for like 1,500 quid, and then if you send it to grading, because although the Death Star's open, they'll grade those U grade because they haven't been taken out of the packaging. So you'll get a U grade. Wow. Mouse Droid, you get a U grade Salacious Crumb. You'll get there you go. There's a bat. I mean, that's a fantastic picture, isn't it?
Fantastic.
You'll get a U grade everything.
Yeah, it's amazing packaging.
Yeah, it is amazing packaging, and you'll you could double your money if you got them graded and sell them singly. So I'm surprised they're not even more money. But yes, I mean, look at that box. I mean, amazing.
So let me ask you: was this like a pre-order thing? Was it a one-off thing? What makes this so rare? Did they not mass produce these?
They could. I don't know the issue numbers, Mark, but there couldn't have been that many thousands. I wouldn't imagine. I mean, I don't know. Maybe 3,000 or 4,000, possibly. I don't know. Again, I'm shouting to you, but I don't know how she got it for me. But I had it at Christmas Day back in 2011, I think it was. I mean, look at that, just lovely.
Really
you add
cool.
a sleeve around it, so UKG of about £500.
Background Halloween.
But it's got a sleeve that went around it. So they presented that really nicely in the case.
They did,
and it looks absolutely amazing.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah.
It really is a unique piece. Yes, yeah. So was it a San Diego Comic Con exclusive for 2011?
Yeah,
well, that's probably what
yeah.
Revenge of the Jedi on it as well. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And that's what all the cards say too, right, lads? Yeah, Revenge of the Jedi. All the cards say Revenge of the Jedi.
But the backs of those aren't Canadian. So the other Revengers, like the layer, the two of the layers I've got, the Revengers. Oh, hang on a minute. No. One of them is Canadian, and then the other one is a regular with a blue sticker on it. But that's like an Oculus that isn't Canadian, if that makes sense. It's another variant.
If there was a Holy Grail, gents, for a TVC, would you say this was it?
Oh, it's in that. Absolutely.
It's one of 5. I would say the Jar Jar Binks carbon free.
Yeah.
You got the Canadian Yoda. You've got this. You've got some other ones that are unpunched, like Cody, maybe Nick, that's unpunched and stuff like that.
Yeah, right.
But it's in that bracket, Mark. It's in that bracket.
I just find it fascinating. I really do. It's a beautiful, beautiful bit. And to put it in a display like that, I bet it looks.
I mean, that's the thing. You could look at it two different ways. You could look at it in its entirety, Shabby, which is immense. And obviously, that's now what Keith has done by getting it graded. It is one thing now, isn't it? But it's like you got the Mouse Droid and Salacious, which are two really sought after items loose on the market, out there.
And it's up to like it's up to $2,000 to $3,000 for that.
Well, in the States, you can probably pick it up for maybe $1,600, $1,500, but in the UK, you won't get anyone less than £2,000 probably.
Wow, beautiful piece, absolutely gorgeous. I mean, and you can see it there with the lights hitting it behind you. So if I just make you big, just 1 second, look at that. Yeah, I'm a big admirer of stuff like that. I think it looks really
that shiny
really nice.
Plastic of Keith. That's nice. They likes the shine of that. Yeah, it's like the other thing that hit me when I got it, Shabby, was looking at the Death Star 2, which was something I didn't expect to I knew it came in that box set, but when you get it, it's like when you look at a vinyl record, you see a bigger picture and you can see more detail of the artwork, on a vinyl as opposed to a CD. So looking at the Death Star, but front and back is just fascinating. Like looking at
the way they did it,
obviously folds up and makes just a Death Star. So
yeah. You take the band off, looking at the Death Star 2, basically, it's massive.
Do you not wet yourself though? Because you're obviously. I mean, how? The reason
I got an STC that I'm going to come.
No, what I mean is, do you put it in your car and take it to be graded, or do you post that? Because I would shit myself if I.
Oh yeah, I would.
So with Steve at UK Graders, it's in Leicester. It's a bit of a secret location. So initially, with Steve, he meets you at a local pub, and you basically, I drive up there. I wouldn't send that, and I didn't send that either.
Yes, sir.
But you drive up there and you hand it over, and then you say goodbye to it for, in those days, would have been 6 months.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, and now it's a bit better now, but 6 months, and you say, right, I'm going to get it back. So and those I nearly bought down, although it's a bit of a comical piece. I've got a Black Series TIE Fighter graded as well, which is
massive.
is
oh my god,
square Black Series one. And again, that's got a bit of sentimental for me and Emma in London once. We saw it in Forbidden Planet in the windowsill. And the Black Series TIE Fighter, remember it was about 180 quid retail. or even more. They went down to about, you can probably get them for £45 because no one was buying them. But which is,
I wonder why.
Yeah, but I've got one graded loose. It's U95. You know, I've got one loose, and I've nearly brought that down, but I thought I've run out. I've only got 6 choices tonight, but yeah, just because it's a bit of humorous, and it's. I mean, U95. It's like mint in a case. Yeah,
ridiculous. I mean, I've asked if that was a grail. Can I ask you both? What is your grail that you don't have in your collections? What is the one thing you think? Oh, I would kill to have that.
Well, for me, sorry, Nick, but for me, there's a lot because I, as I said earlier on, I've had all the grails.
Yeah,
I've had the Canadian Yoda. I've had a U95 Salacious Crumb. I've had a U95 Mouse Droid, and I will, you know, I've sold them to get other stuff, you know. So for me, I'm always having a bit of sell regret, as you do, but you know, I'm always thinking, well, sell it now, and maybe in 10 years' time, when I've got a bit of money, when I maybe retire or whatever, in a private pension, all that business, I'll go out and get that stuff again, you know. So, you know, my biggest sell regret is, and it's well documented, is when I sold all my vintage collection graded stuff. Yeah, you did, Emma. When I started COVID, I had a bit of a panic. I thought, I don't know what's going to the market. I went one way, the market doubled, and you know, I shit out. But you know, it's the way it goes, isn't it? So you know.
Yeah. What about you, Nick? What was yours be?
Well, still something. Yeah, still something I should have got. I should have got it in 2019. I saw we were talking about Cody before, an unpunched Cody. It was on eBay for days and days and days, and it was 50 quid. And just because I thought I could do better, or it should be a little bit cheaper than that, I tried to haggle, and for the sake of £5 bloody postage, what a dickhead! And then that's gone astronomical in value. That I don't know what I'd never seen one before. I thought, oh wow, because you could get Boba Fett's that were unpunched then, which seemed a bit like kind of rare because the VC09 Boba Fett was factory punched, but there was a punched one that floated around, and then I just saw this Cody one there. And I thought, oh, wow, that looks so nice, and I just didn't think he was worth that. I thought I could do better, but really, I should have just bloody bought it, man. It's just I'll never forgive myself.
You do that a few times. I know some of the lads in our community, they say, don't, if you see it, get it, because you never know. But sometimes I think the same as you. Well, I'll get it another time. And then
I was thinking.
Yeah. I'll tell you something. Because my room's so condensed. When probably about 2014, 15, when we've gone through TVC 1 and TVC 2 hadn't really released. Get this, I was literally, because I couldn't display my TVC on the wall, I was popping out the punches so they would sit on drawings on the wall.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, get that.
Wow.
Right? So
give us the names of what you punched out, man.
Fuck, you know, I was punching because I couldn't display. I had no star cases, and I was like, yeah, I'll punch that out and I'll put it on the wall, punch that out. And I remember I'd have punched, you know, now I'm like, what the F was I doing? Can you
remember who you punched though? Did you punch a Cody or a Luke?
No, at the time,
Luke Baspin. I mean,
it was before the re-releases. So it was like, I remember distinctly Mace Windu and a couple others. When at the time Mace Windu was an expensive figure.
Yeah. Well, yeah, before the reissue. Yeah.
I can't remember. I know it's about a dozen punches on the floor, and I think maybe a Keep Fistu and then something else, and it's like
hook them up. Well, I did it when I was buying TVC. For some reason, our side said don't open it. I mean, I had the Ahsoka and the General Grievous, and they all went. That Ahsoka went shooting up, and I was like,
"Oh, I went bonkers, didn't it? Now it's going right down again." And yeah,
I think it's because it was in England when I started to collect the TVC. I was back at home, and I only had a smaller place, so I wanted to open them and just stick them on a shelf or whatever. And I built my own shelves and put them in them and put glass in front of it, and so I had them all displayed like that. And but I wish I kept a couple of them closed, but I still got them. Gary Moore wants to know: did Keith get a spray tan?
No, but out in the garden, mate. Yeah, thank you, mate.
Do you think,
Nick, what do you reckon is the most expensive individual card you can get on the TVC line now?
Wow, most expensive. I don't know, man. Because I saw recently, I did see a Cody go really cheap. A guy I bought a few things off, and I'm sure he sold his for like 150. I'm sure he did, because I saw it in my ended items for 150. I was really annoyed about that. I was like gutted, and he didn't answer my questions either. I said, "Has this ended? Did you sell it?" He goes, "Well," and he was really funny about it. He was like, "It's in your ended items, isn't it?" You know what I mean? He was a bit sarcastic about it. But
What's your problem?
I don't know.
What's your problem? He should have said that.
Well, yeah, he was a really funny guy. Maybe he's watching now. I don't know. Is it you? You watching this?
If you watch it,
he was all right, but I don't know. It wasn't communication wasn't really great with them. But I got a few other items from them that was pretty decent. But anyway, most expensive. I don't know, man. There's that what you said before. All that cluster are all in the mix, aren't they? And their prices might fluctuate, but they're all top dollar items. Yeah.
Do you think Hasbro will ever do like that TVC and Death Star set? Do you think they'll ever do that sort of thing again?
It would be great if they did a New Hope one, wouldn't it? Imagine that, like for the 2027, 50th anniversary. Yeah, 50th anniversary Star Wars. Do a proper Death Star with some other, I don't know, few other variants of whoever in that from a New Hope that we've never had in TVC. That'd be great. Love that.
Yeah, a lot of lads are saying it probably won't be repeated. Like, hey, JT, nice to see you, buddy.
They should do. They should, they should do something like that again.
So this is really Emma's collection. Is that?
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
They are so cute, same way. I have my Black Series TIE Fighter still in the box, never opened it. So awesome. Right, what's your number 2?
All right, I'm just going to change my camera. One moment. We're going to go front facing again. Hang on.
Why are you doing that? Can I just thank you both? I have thoroughly enjoyed tonight. It's been brilliant. This has been awesome. Another great top 5.
I might turn the gimbal off now, so I'm going to power down the gimbal so the camera might go a bit mental. Oh, yeah. Hang on.
I actually have the grail. I don't think it's the actual one. Well, you never know.
Right, we're back. There's the gimbal there. I've got a stand for that. That's why I was using that, because I could use it as a stand as well. So I'm going to go with this first. Speaking of, off the back of talking about that SDCC set and spending lots of money and opening something like I did the SDCC set, this is something very recent that I got, which is a total grail item. Probably one of the most, if not the most expensive figure you can get, I think. And who
is that figure, Nick? Who's
well, he came in a 2-pack. I've got the packaging over there. I'll go and grab it in a second. But this is Exar Kun from the Tales of the Jedi, is it? The comic pack. Let me go and get the packaging, actually. But I've always wanted him. Always wanted him. There was a guy, sadly passed away, called Volcanics Playground. God, Jesus, I've got to be careful. This is well on the floor, this comic. I better take care of it, man. It's expensive. Yeah, he offered, after a live stream, he was sort of terminally ill, cancer, and he sort of turned around we did a live stream, and at the very end, he said to myself, the Forces with Jesse and Darth Phoenix 619, he said, I might give you my Exar Kun, man, because I've got no more need for it, which was so sad to hear him say that.
Wow.
And it didn't happen in the end. It didn't happen because he passed away suddenly, straight after, not long after. It was really sad. And but so I actually went the hard way acquiring this. Not so lucky as getting it given free. So I parted with as much money as that shit there to get this. And a lot of people were not happy that I did it, but I opened it. But I just
did you hesitate opening it though, or were you a bit hesitant at the start?
Well, if you check my video, you'll see how I did it, and I was kind of like, whoa, wincing a little bit, trying to do it carefully and stuff. I did it as carefully as I could.
Because Matt's collection says he has one as well, and though he purchased his at retail, he had no problem opening it. But well, would it be different though, Matt, opening it at the time though? Because you would never have expected this thing to.
Part of me was a bit like, what the hell are you doing? Look how much this is costing. I could, but I wanted it loose. I wanted it with my Sith. I've been collecting Sith, and it's been a big focus of mine. Love Sith. Got so many different ones there, from Malgus, Nihilus, Bane, Revan, Vader, Plagueis, Sidious. And I always wanted Exar as well. I just love his double-bladed lightsaber. I know I've got them separated there, but I love it. Blue saber, just like Anakin. He's bringing that in Revenge of the Sith, the bad guy with the blue saber. Sith Lord with the blue saber, more like. But you know what I mean? So there you go. That was a big deal this year. Getting that open and loose.
Amazing figure.
Yeah, very expensive.
So I think Nick, did you open that live on? Yeah, because that double pack is worth what, 700 quid or something like that? I don't know.
Well, I got it for, you do the math. What was a ghost? 500. So it's crazy. I've never opened. That's the most expensive figure I've ever opened. But it's quite funny, actually. The views, I didn't do it for views as such, but I thought to myself, well, if I'm going to do this and open it to fulfill my dream, then maybe a nice byproduct will be making a video that will be quite good for everyone to see. But that one did F all, man. It did nothing. When I opened the SDCC stuff, I got like loads of views. It was like went mad. But that was just, I only had like 2,000 rubbish.
Maybe people were fainting. Watching
no one gives it. No one cares about this guy.
I can watch Shabby. I turn off. I was sick.
It's like, I'm not watching him. He's an idiot. Opening his expensive stuff.
It is a bit crazy, isn't it? I'm not. Well, I won't have to do it again. I've got it now, haven't I? But I just hope to God they don't bring him out now. I'll be so pissed, man.
Would you be
just mount the camera a second
to buy another one closed then, or is
no way, Shabby, no way. I never wanted him mint like that. Figures like that, I don't keep mint. I mean, I do TVC because of the packaging, but nah.
Yeah,
I won't be doing that.
Got a point, JT. Yeah, awesome figure. Now, so do you have that one then, Keith, as well? You have that.
No, figure. I've got quite a few comic packs, but I haven't got that. There's about 4 or 5 Shabby that are absolutely hook grails, and they're between £600 and £1,000 a pack. And there's about
so how much would this be now? So you don't have to tell me how much you paid for it, only one, but how much is this the going rate for this one now?
I reckon about £700.
That was 500 at auction. You know what I mean? At auction. And some guy, there was only one other bidder, and they had the same idea as me. So I put in my 500 because I thought, well, that's as much as I've ever seen it. Like, I saw it for sale in 2019 for about that much. So I thought I'll put that on and just to guarantee I win it, kind of thing.
There's a set with 2 Kashyyyk troopers in it, and that's about £900 comic pack.
Is that also expensive? Wow.
That's incredible. What was the original price, Cap asks for that? What was the original price?
Oh God, probably $19.99 probably.
I know, JT.
$19.99 probably.
It's funny, isn't it? It's funny. Some figures, some figures just take off, and some figures that you think would do well didn't do well. Do you know what I mean? It's funny that.
It is crazy, man. Opening something like that, but it's just fulfilling a bucket list, whatever you want to call it, grail dream. But that lightsaber, I need to fix that with boiling water because it's bent when I put them together. So I don't like that. That's why I had them separate. I want him holding a double-bladed proper, but bear with me a second.
Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
I want to break it live on air. Yeah, it's fine. It's good.
Breaking news: Hasbro are re-releasing XR Gun in the retro collection. You'll be able to buy it over 3 now.
Oh, that doesn't mean anything in that line, man.
Oh, absolutely brilliant. Well, we've gone down all the way to number 1. Whilst I've got you there, Nick, what is your number 1, my friend?
Yeah, well, my number 1, not a million miles away from what we've just been talking about with regards, classic 3 3/4 inch. Got to be peak era. I'm sure Keith agrees with me. Which was the Prelude TVC. It's the Legacy Collection again, and it's let me go and get him now. Let's go handheld, no gimbal. Oh, yo, bear with me a minute. So over here, a lot of people who know my channel will know, just like one of my favorite figures. Probably my favorite is this Anakin Skywalker here. I still love that figure. I'll get him off here. And he's also really expensive, but the ones I got really well. I bought one mint, which I've subsequently sold, but the ones I bought, it goes really well with this Star Speeder as well from the 30th anniversary. This Starfighter. The ones I bought, I always got loose. So they were, I suppose they were not mint really, but they were just kept by other adult collectors. But I just love this figure because I think we're waiting on a new Anakin Skywalker figure to come out. I still haven't had mine yet. Hang on, he's not in focus, is he? Hang on.
Got him right there.
There's a trilogy, a 3-pack of Anakins, which I'm quite looking forward to getting. But I still think they nailed this head sculpt of Hayden, or they got the hair right. So I always wanted this figure, and I've got a couple of them. But it's just my favorite because it's not only, it's just, I don't know how to explain it really. It's just Star Wars in one figure. You've got the prequels and you've got the sequels as well, because you've got Luke's father. It's terrible. I'm so sorry. Why is it not focusing? Shite. Hang on. There you go. It's Luke's father. It's Anakin Skywalker. There's the blue lightsaber from New Hope. And look at that cape, man. Beautiful, hard goods there. That's just Vader's cape, isn't it? So good.
Yeah, it's Rhino's favourite too. That's my favourite Anakin, he says.
It's just so underrated. I don't know if that's just my opinion, but they made the thing is, I've never understood Shabby. They've made so many other figures of Anakin, and they never once redid use that hair or that head anywhere else. Somebody must. How did they not see it and think, "Wow, we've got it, we've nailed it"? But they didn't.
His outfit all in the black. He looks cool.
Some of these other figures of Anakin have been so crap, and their faces have just been like wrong. I don't know, man. But yeah, and that's what I mean. It's also got a little bit of Return of the Jedi in there because he's wearing all black. Because this is specifically this figure's called Concept Art Anakin, so it's based on the artwork that they intended him to look like that in Revenge of the Sith, which I wish he did really. You know, completely ditched the Jedi robes, gone totally rogue from the Jedi a little bit. You know, the Sidious Palpatine is pulling him away, making him feel special, giving him some power. You know, stick with me, son. Forget about them, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Leave the Jedi, and that it matches Return of the Jedi. So that's what I mean. It's got so much of Star Wars in that one figure. I love it.
It's definitely got like menacing kind of look, hasn't he, Keith? It's a cracking figure.
Yeah, it's from the blue Legacy line. As Nick said, the concept one, and it's a lovely figure. And on the actual packaging, it's got a bit of concept art on it as well. Which
let me just try and change the camera somehow because this is just not working.
There you go. You got it. Perfect.
Facing front. Let's just try this one here. Is this going to work? Negative. That's not going to work.
But I see what you mean when you got it in focus there. The face is a lot better on it, especially for back then.
Wide angle that. Don't know what I'm doing here, man. Struggling a bit here.
He says he likes the idea of Anakin moving away and choosing his own style. Yeah, that's that representation. Exactly. That. You're right.
Yeah, bear with me. Yeah, you've had a look at it, but let me just have a sort this camera out. I'm struggling a bit. I think this is the proper one. I just wasn't focused before. Yeah. And as I say, it goes so nicely with that Death Star fight. You don't see that in any of the films, but my imagination on this is like an expanded universe figure. If he hadn't lost to Obi-Wan, you know, burnt, that's what he would look like. He would go back to the Emperor. He wouldn't have lost his saber. He probably would get a new starfighter, I guess, maybe paint it black to match his new attire. I don't know. I love it.
That 30th anniversary starfighter, that's quite hard to get as well. That's quite difficult to get now as well.
Yeah. It's because it's tinted. I got a really shit figure. Excuse my language, Shabby. I've got a really crap figure of Anakin in there. So it's good. I love that about vehicles. You can put crap figures in them. It's that terrible Anakin. Look at the state of that figure. It's awful. You can't tell because it's tinted red like that. So he's inside. Anyway, yeah, that's my number one. I just love that figure. Very difficult. It's like when someone says, "What's your favorite song or your favorite album?" It's very difficult, but I could easily just say, well, if you want me to really tell you what my favorite figure is, it would be that one. Yeah. So rare as well. So.
That starfighter was used in the Rise of Darth Vader novel, says Matt's collection. There you go.
Cheers, Matt's collection. Yeah, I knew they would have got it somewhere, but I wasn't sure. But I love learning things like that. Great. Thank you, man.
You said the concept art Anakin is like $70 on eBay carded. Wow. Rhino says, I need to repaint an extra Jedi starfighter to make a Sith version. Yeah, he's cool. I like the weathering they've done on that starfighter. It looks cool, like it's been through something. Brilliant. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Yeah, what a great top five, mate. Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you very much, man.
Right. Gups, what's your number one, my friend?
Again, I'm going sentimental because, as I mentioned, I had quite a bit when I was younger through Christmases and stuff. So my number one is this.
Oh, wow. Look at that. Wow. Great stuff.
Yeah, and Shabby's got some pictures, but this was that's the original one I had when I was a kid from probably about Christmas '83 from my late nan and granddad. So it means a lot to me. It's the only place that I've got still from my childhood. I mean, you can tell the figures are all original figures that you see the Tipex Wicket and not Wicket, Tipex Chief Chirper and the Wicket. They're all original figures. You can see the dust on it. But I remember Christmas, I think probably 82. I knew where they used to put all their presents for Christmas. So I went in there and I used to rip the paper, and I knew I was getting this for quite a few weeks before I had it. So it's just I thought it had the spit, but it's just missing the spit. But you've got the little C-3PO chair there and stuff. But yeah, for sentimental reasons, you know, my nan and gran have passed away now, but I've still got that. And that's I don't say it's rough. It's one thing that would never, ever leave my collection.
No, mine's right there at the top. And it's the same, exactly as yours. I've had it for donkey's years. And I just, it's funny, isn't it? Because it's one of those play sets. So if you bring up your Star Wars toys and this and that, you don't really say the Endor Village. And until you see it and realize, actually, it is awesome.
Oh man, that is nice, isn't it?
Ewok Village is so good.
Yeah. That would be another good thing in modern TVC. Like redo that somehow. That'd be awesome.
I wonder why they've never really done that again, because that is a playset, isn't it? That's an iconic playset.
Village. Well, they could and should, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I had this, and I said this on another streamer. I had this in my attic as well, with an old Christmas tree on the floor, and I had the Ewoks on a little string that would fly down from the trusses in my mum's attic. You know, and this is all part of that battle set with a load of speeder bikes and ATSTs and, you know, all that as a bit of a scene going on. And I'm just lucky that I kept this, really, because a lot of my stuff went when I was sort of, you know, late sort of teens and early 20s. I flogged a lot of it, but I managed to keep this for some reason. And yeah, it means a lot to me. I think it probably came from Kay's catalogue, because in those days, you could buy something for £1.50, but you had to pay for it for 20 years.
Your mum's still paying for it, Keith.
£1 a week, wasn't it, for 20 years? But yeah, so it means a hell of a lot to me. Yeah,
he says it ticks every box. It sure does, our Des. Nostalgia, family memories. Oh, yeah. It's funny. Like I said, mine's on the top right there, and exactly everything you've said, Keith. I agree with about that village. It's just awesome.
It's like, I associate that with Des T anyway, because he had one of them in his hands at Echo last year.
Did he?
Yeah, him and his brother-in-law. Yeah, I think so.
Awesome top fives, awesome collections. So yeah, brilliant, absolutely fantastic. Let's just get rid of that a sec. So there you have it. There is only One Kenobi's and Mando number 5's top 5. Absolutely brilliant. Loved it. I knew it'd be good, this. I knew it'd be good. It feels as well, Keith, I don't know about you, that we're in an only one video. You know, the way he's moving around and doing all that. It's like we're in an only one video. It's been awesome. Top 5, awesome collections. Look at this. Excellent list. They look cool stacked up with a Sherwood.
Yeah, I had the Sherwood version, because it's got the Sherwood one's got the leaves on top on it. And I did have that a while ago as well, yeah.
Was it a celebration one time, lads? They had like 6 or 7 of them all stacked up and all. It looked brilliant.
Yeah, where was it? I think they had something in Echo Base as well recently, where he had several of these and other stuff laid out. It looked absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I was never for this as well. You know, people, what Palps is saying here, I can't abide Ewoks. They somehow managed to take out all my top legions. I was all for that though, because it was in there. You know what I mean? What's the word I'm looking for? It was the same way when they did the Predator movie, and that young girl got him because it was in her establishment, in her land, if you will. So she knew exactly. I always thought that about the Ewoks. They'd probably have the upper hand because it's their, you know what I mean? It's their homestead. They know what they're doing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've always been a big fan. Cheers, GJC, top 5. Hang on, Keith's mum is still paying for that Ewok Village. Does Keith actually own anything in his collection?
I was just thinking now, Keith, you know, they did the Tantive 4 and all that, and they made them modular. You can buy more. They could do that with Ewok, couldn't they? As opposed to, you said about being a HasLab. They could do something whereby you build
I keep saying Tantive 5. I think it's a Tantive 5, but Tantive 4, yeah. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But couldn't they? You could do, you know, if you had 5 or 6 modular things, I'd buy more, you know, just get.
Yeah. Like that new Streets of Tatooine's the same, isn't it? You've got to buy loads of them.
Well, have you done that with the cantina as well? That's more sort of like modular, isn't it? You can put other things on that cantina when that arrives and so forth.
It is, but you've got to buy that all in one thing, haven't you? You know what I mean? But whereas you can buy as much or as little as you wanted, maybe like you can for the Streets of Tatooine. Buy loads
with
if you want.
with the HasLab, you can buy the basic one. You can buy the one that's got a bit more to it. Yeah.
It's got a few more
episode tonight, lad, with two amazing people and Shabby doing a
hi.
I love it. People like these two and the people we've had on, you make it easy. You know what I mean? Honestly, I've always been a fan of other people's collections on what they collect and why they collect. I'm fascinated by all that. You know what I mean? I've never been one of those people that funny or I'm not sure about them. No, I'm
yeah, you're very open-minded, man.
Yeah, giving me as much as possible. I love the way
love it. Yeah,
like.
yeah.
You know, I'd sit there
what's good about Tub is your reaction. You're just like, wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. I love it. I love it.
I think what it is going along the line and so forth. You know, I'm not getting into this negativity or whatever, but we are grown men collecting something we've loved since we were kids. And so to someone like me, well, there's absolutely nothing to be pissed off about. You know, it's brilliant. I'll absolutely love it. So for people like yourselves to take time out and come on the show and show us your stuff, that's brilliant. I loved it. IB3 did a fantastic setup. It was Echo Live. That's what it was. Echo. There was one thing in your video I noticed, Obi-Wan, when you went to Echo, that guy making all those stands, and they were dirt cheap. They were like £13 and 50.
Oh, the action
he didn't just have
the flight ones.
He didn't just have original stuff on it though, my friend. He had like legacy ships on it and TVC ships on it. I thought that was brilliant. Yeah,
and he had one for the vintage cloud car, and I said to him, "Oh, would that fit the legacy one?" And fair play to him, he said, "I'd say no because I don't know because I've not tested it." So that's fair. But I think it probably would have, to be honest. But I don't know. But yeah, you're right, man. Loads of modern stuff like the gunship and stuff like that. Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah,
I need to revisit that and investigate them and do some videos on that. Yeah.
Cheers, Q. Yeah. So APD's coming and sending. I'm prepping. Yeah, I'm on APD's on Thursday talking about the greatest movie ever made, which was Pee-wee's Big Adventure. So that'll be. I can't wait for that. That's gonna be awesome. Oh, cheers, Matt's collection. So BOE's right there. So DTM says a great top 5 from Nick and Keith. God, these two have some right good stuff. Darren says brilliant stuff. Another fantastic episode, and you're great chat, awesome chat. Yeah. Have you got anything coming up, fellas, that you want to talk about before we get off? Before I let you go.
I've just got every Friday I've got my Mando's Best series. So this week it is Han Solo Best Pin, because I think Des T suggested that. Yeah. And then the week after, I think I've got AT-AT drivers because Luke Reynolds wanted that. So that's what I've got coming up. So
awesome. What about yourself, Nick? Anything coming up, pal?
Well, let me tell you something, brother. I got a new series now. Yeah, I'm gonna keep going on with them. I think I'm loving that. That's great. Yeah. Even though,
no, carry on with it.
There's a drop. It's quite funny though. It's just like, it just goes to showing it. If you change the formula, it's visible. But it's what it is, isn't it? But I'm gonna keep going with that, and then I'm gonna get my act in here and tidy up a bit because I haven't really been in here for a long time, and I need to get organized.
Well, here's a question for you, because obviously when we do our streams and our videos, we're always in these rooms. But are you in these rooms constantly? Because I'm not. So, for example, it's not as if I'm in here 24 hours a day. I come in to do my streams or when I'm working. I'm always in other rooms, and I kind of like it like that. That I know we make a joke. Well, a lot of people make jokes. Oh, it's because your wife won't. But I don't think I'd like it. I like it where it is. Do you know what I mean? So you can go into a room and be inspirational in your own room. Is that how you feel?
But like at the minute, I've not wanted to come in here because I daren't look at it because it's like a mountain of dirty dishes. It's almost like having a stack of dirty dishes you don't want to do, really. But when you do come in here, even though it's the state it is, I see certain things. I think, wow, I like it in here. But I don't like people. They comment on my channel and they say I'd never leave. You know what I mean? But that's just
I've said it before, Shabby, and I think it's great for us. For our mental health, I think if you've got a room you can escape to and sit in there for 20 minutes, you're having a shit day, and you want to go in there.
100%.
That is, for me, that is what it's all about. You go in there, just tinker around, wasting time.
Yeah,
forget everything else. It's very valuable, and I know people, they take the mickey. It's just toys, but
Isn't to us though, is it? Isn't to us, definitely not. Michael says, what is it? Great show, gents. And I'm going to say to you, Michael, happy birthday. I had a birthday this week, so happy birthday, Mike.
Happy
and
birthday.
Vintage Toy Rush, we'll leave with this. Says only one Kenobi, set up an only one Hogan channel.
Yeah, I love that.
Well,
that's funny.
Yeah, I agree. Well said, Keith. That's exactly the way you look at it. Well, anyway, there you are. Please like, please subscribe. I lost 2 subscribers, so I'm at 998 now. So honestly, I know. I go up and down from 1,000 subs like a
That's ridiculous. Go on. Hit the subscribe. Come on.
Yeah, subscribe. Shabby, can I just say? I mean, what you're doing on the channel is fantastic, mate.
Yeah, man. Awesome.
Love all of it. This is a great series. So
positive energy on Shabby's channel, man. It's great.
Good lads. You're trying to make me cry, Gups. You're trying to make me cry. That's awesome thing. Cheers. I enjoy it. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I think we all do it in ourselves. We take time out of our real lives to do this. And so for this is the best form of escapism I can do. Talk to you boys and ZSR and Tub Thumpers with our side. I just love it. I just have such good fun talking to everybody and having a good laugh and a joke. But I appreciate that. I really do. Awesome chat. See you APDs. Yeah, on Thursday. Then we've got Ladies Night on ZSR on Friday.
Yeah, I think Emma Guppy's on there on Friday.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah. So we got Ladies Night on that. It'll be good. But anyway, please like, please subscribe. We have a Patreon. If you'd like to join that, helps the channel grow so I can make videos like this. Please subscribe to these 2 gentlemen. The YouTube channels are in the description, and we'll see you later on. Say goodnight, lads.
Cheers.
Oh, no, hang on, Shabby. There's one thing I need to say, mate, and that is this: like and subscribe, and so forth. I love that. I love that.
Good night, everyone. See you later.
Yeah.